Chapter 3219. The Diverse Buddhist Clan. Lin Moyu suddenly thought of the poison in the 10 children's bodies. Now it seemed there was something strange about this poison. Lin Moyu went back to the foot of the stairs to observe the children climbing up. He sensed a faint dragon aura from these children. This meant the poison in these children came from the poison dragon among the elemental giant dragons. And this poison dragon was likely the one subdued by dragon subduing ancient Buddha. Back then, he had only subdued the poison dragon, not killed it. This dragon was still alive. Lin Moyu had an idea. He left marks on several children, then turned to enter Buddha City. Dragon subduing Buddha City was lively, looking not much different from human cities, except for the Buddhist aura everywhere. There were also foreign merchants here. The Buddhist clan wasn't an isolated race. They needed exchanges too. Buddhist cultivators also needed various materials and goods. There were also taverns here, with the aroma of wine and meat wafting through the air. The Buddhist clan didn't completely abstain from meat. Only those who failed in cultivation would eat vegetarian to show their devotion. For truly successful Buddhist cultivators, they didn't care what they ate. Wine, meat, or poison, it was all the same to them. All phenomena are empty. Everything is emptiness. People in the Buddhist clan also married and had children. If they didn't marry or reproduce, the Buddhist clan would have gone extinct long ago, let alone talk about inheritance. Lin Moyu found a tavern, casually ordered 2 dishes, and leisurely drank wine. At the same time, his ears twitched slightly. In an instant, all sounds in the entire city were within his grasp. Dragon subduing Buddha City's population wasn't large, about 1 million. Dragon subduing Buddha Nation wasn't a large Buddha nation either. Besides Dragon subduing Buddha City, there were 4 smaller cities in the entire nation. Adding in scattered villages, the entire Dragon subduing Buddha Nation had less than 10 million people, not even a tenth of those large Buddha nations. But the Buddhist clan didn't calculate like this. They claimed that every blade of grass and every tree had Buddha nature and could become a Buddha. So any being with spiritual nature, including spirit beasts, plants, and trees, would be counted by them. Thus, they claimed countless beings in Buddha nations, from tens of millions to over 1 billion. In reality, there weren't so many. Those plants and trees with some spiritual nature didn't really count. But from another perspective, the entire Buddha nation was year-round enveloped in Buddhist light and the sound of chanting scriptures. Both the Buddhist light and scriptures contained Buddhist power, which indeed helped awaken the spiritual nature of plants and trees. It also easily bewitched people's hearts. As long as plants, trees, and spirit beasts were awakened by Buddhist power, they would inevitably convert to the Buddhist clan and become members. As time accumulated, the Buddhist clan's power would naturally grow stronger and stronger. As far as Lin Moyu knew, within the Buddhist clan, there were groups composed of plant and tree spirits, and their strength was quite considerable. Because of this, the 100 Herbs Alliance had once conflicted with the Buddhist clan. Initially, they had tried to bring those plant and tree spirits back to the 100 Herbs Alliance. But they finally discovered that plant and tree spirits awakened by Buddhist power were only loyal to the Buddhist clan and couldn't join the 100 Herbs Alliance. In the end, they had to give up. At this moment, in Dragon subduing Buddha City, there were some plant and tree spirits. Some had evolved into human form, while others maintained their original appearance. Not just plant and tree spirits, but spirit beasts also appeared in Buddha City, likewise maintaining their original forms. If one saw a huge spirit beast in Buddha City, there was no need to be surprised. All races were present in Buddha City, and one could even see some converted beast race people. However, overall, humans were still the majority. Humans were the main component of the Buddhist clan. While pondering various information about the Buddhist clan, Lin Moyu was also receiving sounds from the entire city. From the massive amount of information, Lin Moyu quickly extracted what he needed.
If it's as I think, the injured children this time shouldn't be just these few.
Soon, he got what he wanted from the massive information. Some Buddhists were chatting casually.
In recent days, the plague has reappeared. Villages in the Buddha nation have been affected by the plague. Who knows how many will die? On my way here, I've already seen many people bringing their children to Buddha City, probably to seek help from the nation's lord. This kind of plague comes every few decades. Each time, many people die, with very few survivors. Even the nation's lord can't find the source. It's really helpless. It's said the nation's lord has sought help from the Buddhas in the Buddha realm, but it seems useless. Yes, I've heard that too. If even the Buddhas in the Buddha realm can't solve it, then there's really no way.
Similar conversations were happening not just among these few people, but others were discussing it too. Listening to sentence after sentence, Lin Moyu quickly grasped the key points. First, the plague they spoke of wasn't actually a plague, but poison from the elemental giant dragon. This poison had been disguised, its toxicity not strong, appearing like a plague. This kind of poison wasn't actually difficult to cure. It didn't require a Tao venerable. Even a supreme realm alchemist among humans could neutralize this poison. He believed that those ancient Buddhas in the Buddha realm surely had corresponding solutions. As for why it was unsolvable, there were only two reasons. One was that dragon subduing ancient Buddha hadn't actually gone to the Buddha realm. The claim of seeking help from the Buddha realm was just an excuse. The second was that he did go, but those in the Buddha realm weren't willing to help. It was just these two reasons. Which one it was didn't matter. Lin Moyu didn't want to get involved in this matter. He just wanted to watch and see if those so-called Buddhas in the Buddhist clan were truly benevolent or truly hypocritical. Was his thinking too one-sided? Or was it actually like this? The yin and yang origins silently completed their alternation. Lin Moyu could feel the yin rune appearing on his brow. But the Buddha nation only darkened slightly, with no significant overall change. In the Buddha nation, Buddhist light shone everywhere, replacing the yin and yang origins. Some people in the Buddha nation had never even seen the yin and yang origins in their entire lives.
It's indeed a completely different cultivation method. The yin and yang origins are said to be the most fundamental power of the origin continent. Even origin spirit veins need to evolve through the yin and yang origins. Yet in the Buddhist clans, Buddha nations, they cover up the two origins. It's quite interesting. Finally, they've arrived.
The child called Little May finally climbed the stairs and arrived at Buddha City. The first thing she did upon arriving was to perform a grand salute before the statue of dragon subduing ancient Buddha, kneeling 3 times and kowtowing 9 times. Lin Moyu saw this scene through the mark he had left. As Little May kowtowed, the poison dragon statue on dragon subduing ancient Buddha's statue suddenly lit up with a dark green light in its eyes. Little May's originally pale face suddenly gained a rosy tint, and she became much more energetic overall. This change excited Little May's mother greatly. She thought her daughter's illness had improved a lot, that worshipping Buddha really worked. But Lin Moyu knew that Little May hadn't improved. Not only had she not improved, but the poison had deepened. The rosy complexion and improved spirit were just illusions. In fact, this poison was consuming her life force. Lin Moyu thought to himself, to do such a vicious thing to a child, he couldn't help but feel angry. 3,223,220. Chapter 32:20. If they don't enter hell, who will? Deepening the poison while giving the illusion of improvement. Giving false hope only to ultimately take it away. This behavior was insidious and vicious. Thinking of Little May's innocent face, anger rose in Lin Moyu's heart, and a sense of compassion stirred slightly.
I never thought that someone like me, who has killed countless people, would still feel compassion. Back then, when I saw Little Moon, I seemed to feel the same way.
Lin Moyu felt that deep in his heart, there was always a softness hidden for innocence. Perhaps because his experiences had been too bloody, that tiny bit of softness seemed extremely important. This also fit with the Tao's principle of yin within yang and yang within yin. Lin Moyu's killing was his yang, and that softness was the deepest yin. Only with yin and yang coexisting could it conform to the Tao. Now, this bit of softness was activated by Little May's smile and a few crude candies. Lin Moyu said in his heart,
Don't worry, you won't die.
At this moment, he transformed from a spectator to a player in the game. He wanted to see what kind of scheme dragon subduing ancient Buddha had set up, what plot he was hatching. After bowing to the Buddha statue, little May stood quietly to the side with her mother, motionless. Soon, the remaining 9 children, accompanied by their families, also came before the statue of dragon subduing ancient Buddha to bow. After 3 bows and 9 kowtows, all these children showed signs of rosy cheeks and improved spirits. Without exception, the parents of these children were all very happy. After all 10 children had bowed, the statue of dragon subduing ancient Buddha suddenly burst into brilliant light. The Buddha illusion in the sky projected a beam of light directly to the other side of dragon subduing Buddha city. The staircase that led towards the sky, usually hidden in clouds and mist, suddenly became clear. This staircase was like a path to heaven, with countless steps, its end connecting to a magnificent hall. For golden characters appeared above the hall, dragon subduing Buddha hall. Then, a huge and majestic voice sounded.
Amitabha. Our Buddha is merciful. Calamity and plague have returned. This Buddha shall do his utmost to treat the faithful of the Buddha nation. The power of the Buddha nation comes from sincerity. The more devout one is, the better the treatment effect. Pass through Buddha city, climb the Buddha stairs, enter the Buddha hall. This Buddha will be waiting in the hall.
Dragon subduing ancient Buddha's voice was majestic and deep. As he spoke, the Buddha illusion in the sky emitted even more intense radiance. As the ancient Buddha manifested, many people in Dragon subduing Buddha city bowed in worship, chanting the name of Dragon subduing Buddha. For a time, the 4 words,
Dragon subduing Buddha,
resounded throughout the entire Buddha city. The 10 children beside the statue, accompanied by their relatives, passed through Dragon subduing Buddha city towards the other end of the city, preparing to climb the Buddha stairs.
Making such a big fuss just to deceive 10 people, isn't that making a mountain out of a molehill?
Lin Moyu thought as he got up, paid, and also headed towards the Buddha stairs. The closer one got to the Buddha stairs, the closer to the Buddha hall. The closer to the Buddha hall, the closer to Dragon subduing ancient Buddha, and the stronger the Buddhist power one could feel. Until Lin Moyu arrived before the Buddha stairs, he realized he had misjudged. There were far more than 10 poisoned children. There were hundreds. These children had long gathered before the Buddha stairs, waiting for them to open. At this time, the Buddha stairs were still closed, and no one could go up. Little May and the other 9 would be the last group. When they arrived, the stairs would open.
Hundreds of people in one city, at least 1,000 people in 5 cities combined. Over 1,000 children under 10 years old. What exactly does this dragon subduing ancient Buddha want to do?
Lin Moyu had a thought. The Tao of Destiny silently appeared, concealing all his aura. The space around Lin Moyu distorted, and he entered another layer of space. From this moment, Lin Moyu disappeared from the eyes of the world. The perfect combination of the Tao of Destiny and the Tao of Space demonstrated extremely strong concealment ability. In front of the Buddha stairs, hundreds of children knelt in a mass, their eyes filled with devotion. Judging from their posture, they had been kneeling for a while. Finally, after little May and the others arrived, the restriction covering the Buddha stairs automatically lifted, and the stairs immediately opened.
Climb the Buddha stairs, enter the Buddha hall.
The majestic voice sounded again, accompanied by thunderous bell tolls. The bell sound bewitched people's hearts. After hearing it, those children's eyes couldn't help but show a dazed look. They had only one thought in their minds: to climb the Buddha stairs and enter the Buddha hall, hoping to exchange their sincerity for dragon subduing ancient Buddha's treatment. Only the children could enter the Buddha stairs. All the elders and relatives could only watch them. The Buddha stairs had at least 10,000 steps. How could children under 10 years old climb them all? And it wasn't just ordinary climbing, but taking 3 steps and then bowing. Not to mention children, even an adult would find it difficult to climb. But in the eyes of all Buddhists, this was a test to see if one was sincere enough. As long as one was sincere enough, they would surely be able to reach the Buddha hall. In their hearts, Buddhas were all merciful, but their mercy needed to be exchanged with sincerity. Only with absolute sincerity could one exchange for a Buddha's mercy. The massive amount of information Lin Moyu had heard earlier had already let him know the thoughts in these people's hearts. In his view, these people had been brainwashed, and it was almost impossible to change them. Only these children still had a chance to change their minds.
Perhaps I should let them see what a true Buddha is.
Lin Moyu flew up silently, reaching the end of the Buddha stairs in the blink of an eye. At the end of the Buddha stairs was the Buddha hall, grand and tall, with clearer chanting sounds coming from inside. Lin Moyu entered the Buddha hall and saw a golden ancient Buddha sitting in the middle. His appearance matched the statue in front of Buddha City. Dragon subduing ancient Buddha had a faint halo behind him. From this, one could see that dragon subduing ancient Buddha was only half a step away from becoming an ancient Buddha. With another half step, he could become an ancient Buddha. Then he could enter the Buddha realm, and his entire Buddha nation would advance as well. In the Buddhist clan, the status of ancient Buddhas and ancient heavenly Buddhas was vastly different. Dragon subduing ancient Buddha didn't know of Lin Moyu's arrival at all. He said,
"The children you wanted have come. After this, I should be able to advance to ancient Buddha."
In the dark corner of the Buddha hall where the radiance didn't reach, a hoarse voice sounded,
"No problem. As long as you refine these children's souls, you'll surely be able to advance. I can sense that among these children, one child's soul is extremely special. Perhaps there will be unexpected gains."
Dark laughter came from the darkness, revealing two blood-red eyes. Then a huge dragon slowly flew out. It was entirely green, the poison dragon among the elemental dragons. Lin Moyu saw that its tail was broken, clearly injured. Moreover, this injury originated from the soul, so it couldn't be healed. Dragon subduing ancient Buddha said in a low voice,
"These are all citizens of my Buddha nation. I shouldn't do this."
The poison dragon said with a hint of disdain,
"You say this every time. Isn't it tiresome? Since they're citizens of your Buddha nation, isn't it normal for them to sacrifice for you? Doesn't your Buddhist clan say, if they don't enter hell, who will? Moreover, this benefits both of us. I refine human pills with the bodies of boys and girls to repair my injuries. You strengthen your cultivation. Why shouldn't we do it? We've cooperated so many times. Don't tell me you're getting soft-hearted."
3221, 3221. Chapter 3221. Dragon Buddha Collaboration, Refining Human Pills. The poison dragon talked endlessly, like a chatterbox, mumbling while pacing back and forth. Its huge body walked around the Buddha hall, like an old man chanting scriptures.
"You fellow, since you've done it, see it through to the end. Every time you get soft-hearted, but you still do it anyway. Why be so hypocritical as a person or a Buddha? It's better to be like me, straightforward. I'm just bad, just evil. If you wanted to do this, why did you agree to cooperate with me back then? I deliberately lost to you, giving you the title of dragon subduing Buddha and allowing you to establish a Buddha nation. Over these years, haven't you gained enough benefits? Look at those at your level, who has cultivated as fast as you. You're almost an ancient Buddha now. Once you become an ancient Buddha, who will remember what you've done all these years? Even if those guys find out, what can they do to you? Come to the Buddha realm to kill you. How is that any different from suicide? In this world, might makes right. Everything else is fake."
After being lectured by the poison dragon, Dragon subduing ancient Buddha sighed and said softly,
"They've already started climbing the Buddha stairs. The rest is up to you."
The poison dragon chuckled.
"No problem."
He walked out of the Buddha hall, and as he reached outside, he transformed, instantly becoming a Buddha. His body shone with golden light. Ordinary people couldn't tell at all that his true form was a poison dragon. Lin Moyu witnessed all this, and was also grateful that this poison dragon was a chatterbox. He didn't need to do much to understand the whole story. It was simply a Buddha and a dragon, pretending to subdue dragons on the surface to bewitch people's hearts and establish a Buddha nation. In reality, they were secretly cooperating, using boys and girls to refine human pills, one to recover from injuries, the other to increase cultivation. They each had their own goals, hitting it off immediately. However, dragon subduing ancient Buddha often hesitated, seemingly still possessing some goodness. In Lin Moyu's eyes, he was the most hypocritical one. If you're going to do evil, do it thoroughly. At the moment of doing evil, kindness is useless. Constantly wavering between the two is what the most hypocritical people do. The Buddhist saying,
"Put down the butcher's knife and become a Buddha on the spot,"
was one Lin Moyu hated most. From another perspective, wasn't this saying telling everyone that you can go ahead and do evil, as long as you repent in the end and put down the butcher's knife, you can become a Buddha on the spot? If evil people can put down the butcher's knife and become Buddhas immediately, then what about good people who have put down the butcher's knife for countless years but still can't become Buddhas? Who can they reason with? Of course, the Buddhist clan would surely have another explanation. But Lin Moyu didn't believe it at all. His heart was firm, and he had his own understanding of everything in the world. In doing anything, Lin Moyu only asked his own heart. As long as he felt it wasn't wrong, then it was right. In Lin Moyu's view, dragon subduing ancient Buddha's Buddha heart wasn't firm enough, so he wouldn't achieve much in this life. If not for relying on such unorthodox and evil methods, he couldn't possibly become an ancient Buddha. If Lin Moyu were to act now, he could easily crush dragon subduing ancient Buddha and this poison dragon. However, Lin Moyu didn't want to do so. He wanted these children to see dragon subduing ancient Buddha's true face, especially little Mei. He had already sensed that little Mei was unusual, and the poison dragon had sensed something too. After this matter was over, Lin Moyu wanted to carefully examine little Mei's situation. It was possible he might gain another disciple. If that were the case, then letting little Mei thoroughly see through dragon subduing ancient Buddha's true face would be very important. To shatter her inner devotion, she needed to truly see this world clearly. The poison dragon, transformed into a Buddha, came to the Buddha stairs. Looking at the children crawling up while kowtowing, the corner of his mouth actually dripped a bit of saliva. In his eyes, these children were all delicious pills.
"Let's start with you."
The Buddha transformed from the poison dragon suddenly became incredibly huge, instantly manifesting before the world. People in the Buddha nation immediately knelt down to worship. The Buddha he transformed into looked almost identical to dragon subduing ancient Buddha. Everyone thought it was dragon subduing ancient Buddha revealing his golden body.
Amitabha. The Buddha's stairs are not easy to climb. Only sincerity is the path to climbing the stairs. If the heart is not sincere, one will enter the Avicii hell, and the golden Buddha cannot save them.
His voice was deep, seemingly carrying a hint of anger. As his words fell, two children suddenly fell from the Buddha stairs. Below the Buddha stairs, among the kneeling crowd, screams immediately rang out. The fallen children were their own. The poison dragon said in a low voice,
Amitabha. If the heart is not sincere, the golden Buddha cannot save them.
The implication was that these two children deserved to die. The poison dragon's voice was full of bewitchment, and a mysterious power fell upon everyone. Those who were grieving just moments ago suddenly quieted down. The grief on their faces disappeared, and instead, they bowed to the poison dragon.
The nation's Lord speaks true. It was my child's heart that wasn't sincere enough. My child deserved to die.
Under the poison dragon's bewitchment, they no longer grieved for their children's deaths, but instead felt they were at fault. Lin Moyu frowned slightly. Such a complete reversal of right and wrong, black and white. This poison dragon had truly done evil to the extreme. He had already seen that below the Buddha stairs, a huge pill furnace was hidden in the clouds. The fallen children would fall directly into the pill furnace. Flames burned fiercely under the pill furnace, and a formation was operating, automatically refining pills. The entire pill furnace exuded a bloody aura, clearly showing that many children had already died here. The poison dragon revealed a satisfied smile.
The heart must be sincere. I don't blame you. Continue climbing the stairs. As long as you can climb up, you will surely be saved.
The poison dragon continued his performance, but he didn't know that the two children who had just fallen hadn't actually fallen into the pill furnace. They had been taken away by Lin Moyu, directly sent into the rules world. With Lin Moyu's strength, even if he did these things right under the poison dragon's nose, the poison dragon wouldn't be able to detect it. Then Lin Moyu continued watching the poison dragon's performance. The poison dragon seemed to be getting into his role, continuously revealing his true form, occasionally saying some ambiguous Buddhist phrases. Perhaps from living in the Buddhist clan for so long, the poison dragon acted quite convincingly, making it hard to distinguish truth from falsehood. Along the way, children kept falling from the Buddha stairs, all rescued by Lin Moyu. Under the poison dragon's bewitchment, the kneeling crowd only felt that their children weren't sincere enough and deserved to die. At this moment, their children's lives seemed less important than their devotion to him. However, not many children fell. Less than a third fell, and most children could climb the Buddha stairs. Lin Moyu also knew that every time the plague appeared, not all children would die. About half of the children could survive. This was also to cover up their tracks. Dragons subduing ancient Buddha and the poison dragon hadn't gone to extremes. If they killed everyone, problems might arise. With some living and some dying, the chances of problems arising would be much less. It had to be said, this Buddha and dragon were being very careful. Finally, hundreds of people climbed the Buddha stairs and arrived before the Buddha hall. The poison dragon shouted,
All sit down and chant scriptures while waiting.
These children were very obedient and immediately sat down to wait. Beams of light fell from the sky, enveloping these children. Threads of Buddhist power entered their bodies, sweeping away all fatigue, and they wouldn't feel hungry. The poison dragon returned to the Buddha hall and said to dragon subduing ancient Buddha,
It's done here. The children from the other cities have also been gathered. I'll go bring them over.
Dragon subduing ancient Buddha didn't respond. The poison dragon was used to this and turned to leave. 3222 3222. Chapter 3222. Dissolution and Rebirth, Innate Tao Soul. The dragon subduing ancient nation had 5 cities in total. One dragon subduing Buddha city was the main city. The other 4 Buddhist cities were smaller cities. The plague appeared earlier in the smaller cities, and those children had already been gathered. According to the information Lin Moyu knew, the death rate among children in those smaller cities was quite high every time the plague struck. Over time, this gave people the impression that to live better, one should come to the main city, or at least be close to it. After the poison dragon left, dragon subduing ancient Buddha let out a long sigh. Hearing this sigh, Lin Moyu's eyes were full of disdain. Outside the Buddha hall, a group of children sat on the ground, all very quiet, not whispering to each other, as if this could show their sincerity. Lin Moyu could sense that the poison in their bodies was taking effect. Their complexions didn't look good. Even with the radiant light shining on them, it was only consuming their life force. Suddenly, little May's nose twitched. She raised her little head, looking left and right, as if searching for something.
She can even smell this.
Lin Moyu was surprised, then came to little May's side. The space distorted slightly, enveloping little May. To outsiders, little May still appeared motionless. But in fact, little May had already entered another layer of space. Suddenly seeing Lin Moyu, little May's eyes showed delight.
Big brother, did you also climb the stairs?
Lin Moyu smiled.
How did you smell me?
Little May said.
I don't know, I just smelled it.
Lin Moyu asked.
Is your nose usually this sensitive? Can you smell things others can't?
Little May thought for a moment.
Yes, I can always smell different scents. Once, I smelled a special scent, and then I found an injured little rabbit. You know what, big brother? That little rabbit could talk.
Little May was excited as she said this. Actually, in the Buddha nation, small animals talking wasn't rare. Under the illumination of Buddhist light, many plants and animals would develop spirituality. changing from ordinary animals into spirit beasts. After becoming spirit beasts, their souls would further strengthen, allowing them to speak. This situation was even more common in the Buddha nations within the Buddha realm, where the Buddhist light was stronger, making it easier to awaken spirituality. Lin Moyu smiled and asked,
"What did the little rabbit say to you?"
Little May said innocently,
"I asked the little rabbit how it got hurt. The little rabbit said a dragon wanted to eat it, and it got hurt while escaping."
Lin Moyu continued to ask,
"What happened after that?"
Little May said,
"Later, the little rabbit left. I told it to be careful and not get eaten by the dragon again. But how could there be a dragon in the Buddha nation? Wasn't that dragon killed by our nation's lord?"
Lin Moyu smiled without answering.
"Little May, Big Brother wants to check your illness."
Little May seemed to trust Lin Moyu completely, not doubting his words at all.
"Big Brother can also treat illnesses?"
Lin Moyu said.
"Yes, does Little May believe in Big Brother?"
Little May said,
"Of course I believe. Big Brother smells nice, and people who smell nice can't be bad people."
What an innocent girl. Lin Moyu raised his hand and placed his palm on Little May's forehead.
"Little May, relax, don't be afraid."
Little May nodded, closing her eyes, very obedient. Lin Moyu focused his thoughts, entering Little May's soul world in an extremely gentle manner. With his strength, he could have forcibly entered. But that would have damaged Little May's soul world. Only when Little May didn't resist and was willing could he send a thread of consciousness in. Little May was an ordinary person. Her soul world was a void, with nothing in it. After Lin Moyu's consciousness entered, he immediately saw Little May's soul. After looking, Lin Moyu immediately withdrew from Little May's soul world, the whole process taking no more than half a second. His power was too strong. Even just a thread of consciousness was more than Little May's soul world could bear. If the time was slightly longer, Little May's soul world would have been damaged. Half a second was enough for Lin Moyu to see clearly.
"Indeed, it really is an innate soul."
Lin Moyu's expression became slightly serious at this moment. What he saw in that half second was different from what he had imagined. He had previously thought Little May might have some special cultivation physique, perhaps not as top tier as Little Moon's innate jade soul. But in this era, anyone with a special physique was rare. Moreover, such people usually had very strong destiny, and if he could take her as a disciple, it would benefit both parties. But Little May's soul wasn't like that. Little May did indeed have an innate soul, but she wasn't a special physique. Her soul was a Tao soul. Lin Moyu had only seen mentions of Tao souls in materials occasionally, and there weren't many records about them. A Tao soul was a special type of innate soul. It wasn't truly innate but had transitioned from acquired to innate. Specifically, it was when a 9th-level Tao venerable cultivator dissolved their body and reincarnated, living another life. At the moment of dissolution, they would concentrate all their power into their soul, forcibly using the power of heaven and earth during reincarnation to turn their soul from acquired to innate. Therefore, this type of soul was called a Tao soul. This secret technique of dissolution and rebirth was now basically lost, only preserved in some ancient sects and holy lands. Moreover, this secret technique was too dangerous and extremely demanding. Besides requiring a large amount of precious materials, it also needed to be performed when the Tao Venerable was at their peak. Even so, out of 10 people who attempted it, 9 would die. It was a 1 in 10 chance of survival. If a Tao Venerable waited until they were old and no longer at their peak, then it would be certain death. Normally, no Tao Venerable would choose to do this.
To make the soul break through to innate, besides dissolution and rebirth, the only other way is to enter the Great Tao realm. But now the path to the Great Tao is closed, so some people choose dissolution and rebirth, making their soul innate from the start, and then cultivating again, aiming for the Great Tao.
Lin Moyu didn't know which 9th-level Tao Venerable Little May had been in her previous life, but regardless, it was worthy of his respect. Anyone who could make the decision to dissolve their body and be reborn was no ordinary person. He just didn't know if that Tao Venerable could recover the memories of their previous life after dissolution and rebirth. If they could recover their memories, it would be a success. If not, it would be a failure. Little May had become a completely new person, no longer her previous self.
Regardless, meeting me is fate.
Lin Moyu's gaze shifted slightly as he examined Little May's destiny. As he had thought, Little May's destiny soared to the heavens, incredibly vast. After all, Little May had been a 9th-level Dao venerable powerhouse in her previous life. Having dissolved her body and been reborn with an innate soul, how could her destiny not be strong? Little May's destiny was many times stronger than that of dragon subduing ancient Buddha and the poison dragon combined. The outcome was predictable if these two wanted to harm Little May. Little May's destiny was too strong, causing a backlash against the Buddha and dragon. So this coincidence happened, he happened to come here, and Little May happened to smell his scent. The cause and effect were naturally guided by destiny. Lin Moyu had already decided to take Little May away. With such strong destiny, once she became his disciple, both Dao Speech City and himself would benefit. Lin Moyu knew all too well how important destiny was. But before that, there was still one thing to do. 3223 3223. Chapter 3223. If they really had great destiny, would they be here? According to the information he knew, Dao venerables who dissolved their bodies and reincarnated would have a corresponding rebirth treasure. This rebirth treasure was the key to whether the reincarnation could truly succeed. The success of dissolution and rebirth could be seen as 2 steps. The first step was to survive and successfully transform the soul from acquired to innate. The second step was to recover one's former cultivation and memories, which relied on the rebirth treasure. Now Little May had succeeded halfway, with the other half still to go. If the second step couldn't be completed, then Little May would be a completely new life, unrelated to the 9th-level Dao Venerable before reincarnation. Strictly speaking, the dissolution and rebirth would be considered a failure. Actually, even if Little May couldn't find the rebirth treasure, with her innate Dao soul, her cultivation speed would still be extremely fast. At most in a few thousand years, Little May could return to the Dao Venerable realm, and then in several tens of thousands of years, she could return to the 9th-level Dao Venerable realm. But this wouldn't be perfect, as it would waste a lot of time. The rebirth treasure contained not only cultivation, but also destiny and memories of past cultivation experiences, all of which were very precious. Especially destiny. If she obtained the rebirth treasure, her destiny could greatly increase, and the probability of breaking through to the Great Dao realm would also significantly improve. The rebirth treasure would scatter along with the dissolution and rebirth. If nothing went wrong, they wouldn't be too far apart. Moreover, there was a karmic connection between the reincarnated person and the rebirth treasure. Sooner or later they would meet, unless something unexpected happened. Lin Moyu guessed that since Little May had reincarnated here, the rebirth treasure was probably in the dragon-subduing Buddha nation, though there was also a chance it could be in nearby Buddha nations. Lin Moyu withdrew his palm, and Little May immediately woke up, looking at Lin Moyu with innocent big eyes.
Big brother, can my illness be cured?
Lin Moyu smiled.
It can be cured, but now is not the time. Little May, do you think dragon subduing ancient Buddha is a good person or a bad person?
Little May thought for a moment.
Mom told me that the nation's lord is a very great person. He killed that dragon, allowing people here to live in peace, without having to worry all the time.
Little May didn't say whether he was good or bad, just that he was a very great person. What she knew was all from her mother's words. A child not yet 10 years old didn't really have many thoughts of her own. Lin Moyu said,
Brother wants to know Little May's own thoughts.
Little May tilted her head, looking towards the Buddha hall with some hesitation.
When I saw the nation's lord just now, Little May smelled some scents. These scents weren't pleasant, not fragrant.
The innate Dao soul was very sensitive. Although Little May hadn't cultivated, she could still have various feelings. For her, these feelings were scents. Different scents could distinguish good from bad, kind from evil. Of course, this good and bad, kind and evil was only in relation to her personally. To her, Lin Moyu smelled fragrant, very pleasant. What she described as unpleasant was actually quite euphemistic. In fact, it meant stinky. What she saw wasn't dragons subduing ancient Buddha, but the malicious poison dragon. How could it not stink? Lin Moyu said.
Actually, that just now wasn't dragon subduing ancient Buddha. The real dragon subduing ancient Buddha has been in the Buddha hall all along, not coming out. Little May, smell again. What's the scent of the person in the Buddha hall like?
Little May sniffed hard. Then her little face turned ugly.
It stinks so much.
Lin Moyu chuckled. Little May's reaction was clearly instinctive. He continued to ask,
Is it even stinkier than the one just now?
Little May covered her nose and nodded vigorously.
Yes, much stinkier.
Lin Moyu smiled.
Then quickly plug your nose. Don't let the stink kill you.
As he had thought, that dragon subduing ancient Buddha in the Buddha hall was too hypocritical. Seeming to have some kindness but doing evil with kindness was truly the greatest evil. Such a person's scent was stinkier, far stinkier than a straightforward evil person like the poison dragon. At this moment, there was movement in the Buddha hall. Lin Moyu said,
Little May, watch the show a bit longer. Brother will help cure your illness in a while. Don't be afraid, brother is right beside you.
Little May took 2 deep breaths of Lin Moyu's scent. She completely believed Lin Moyu's words.
Little May isn't afraid.
Lin Moyu let Little May return to the real world, while he remained in another layer of space. Everything that had just happened, except for the 2 of them, no one knew. A majestic voice came from the Buddha hall.
Everyone, enter the Buddha hall.
The children who had been sitting for half a day all stood up, ignoring their numb legs, and entered the Buddha hall. At this time, in the Buddha hall, hundreds of children were already standing. These children were also under 10 years old, coming from 4 small Buddha cities. The 2 groups of children together numbered over 1,000. The dragon subduing ancient Buddha transformed from the poison dragon was looking at them with unfriendly eyes. The real dragon subduing ancient Buddha had his back to all the children, as if unable to bear looking. The poison dragon's gaze swept over them. His gaze was extremely sharp, and the children all lowered their heads, not daring to meet his eyes. A deep, majestic voice came from his mouth.
You are all suffering from the plague, afflicted with serious illness, on the road to death. Today, I will act to save you from suffering. I hope you can repay with sincerity. I can see that not all of you are sincere. For those whose hearts are not sincere, my wondrous methods will naturally be ineffective. You should understand clearly.
His words were like a spell, imprinting into their minds. Even when these children grew up, they wouldn't forget. Lin Moyu knew what he was going to do. Of the 1,000 children here, he wouldn't use all of them to refine into human pills. Most of them would have their poison removed and be sent back. These children would tell others that those who couldn't return were not sincere enough, so they couldn't be cured. Children's words, though childish, were often easier for people to believe. With their words, no one would be suspicious. Combined with the previous bewitchment, everyone would only think that indeed, their hearts weren't sincere enough. The poison dragon had done this many times, never making a mistake. The poison dragon continued,
Everyone close your eyes and chant scriptures.
In an instant, over 1,000 children all closed their eyes and began chanting. The scripture was simple, just repeatedly chanting dragon subduing ancient Buddha's name in different tones and speeds. The poison dragon waved out a green mist. The green mist turned into sweet dew falling down, immediately dissolving the poison in the children's bodies. This poison he had planted was effortless for him to remove. In the blink of an eye, all the children's poison was removed. Then the poison dragon waved his hand again, and over 1,000 children fell to the ground, unconscious. The poison dragon took 2 steps to little May's side, singling out the unconscious little May, then said to dragon subduing ancient Buddha,
It's your turn. How many people to send back, you decide. But I'll warn you in advance, if you want to advance to ancient Buddha, you need at least 200 human pills. If you want to be 100% sure, it's best to have 300 human pills. According to our agreement, however many you want, I want the same.
Dragon subduing ancient Buddha said in a low voice.
No need for your reminder, I understand. Why single out this girl?
The poison dragon said.
This little girl gives me an unusual feeling. You can take a look.
He threw little May to Dragon subduing ancient Buddha. Dragon subduing ancient Buddha waved out a Buddhist power, floating little May in midair, and carefully examined her. Gradually, he also saw little May's unusualness.
This girl's soul is different from ordinary ones. If I'm not mistaken, it should be some kind of special physique.
The poison dragon chuckled.
A special physique is good. Maybe we can refine a special pill. We can share it when the time comes.
Dragon subduing ancient Buddha frowned.
This kind of special physique often carries great destiny. We should let her go back.
The poison dragon snorted.
Bullshit. What great destiny? If they really had great destiny, would they be here?
3224 3224 Chapter 3224. Dead people are more reliable than living ones. The poison dragon clearly didn't believe in the concept of destiny.
Once I refine this girl into a human pill, whatever special physique she has, I'll swallow it in one gulp. Come to think of it, even if she does have some special physique, maybe I can get it after eating the human pill. Originally I was going to share with you, but if you don't want it, then I won't be polite. Maybe after I eat it, my injuries will greatly improve, and my bloodline can be restored. Stop wasting time with nonsense, hurry up and do it. Release those who should be released, keep those who should be kept.
The poison dragon didn't give Dragon subduing ancient Buddha any face, speaking very impolitely. The poison dragon's strength wasn't actually as great as Dragon subduing ancient Buddha's, and his soul was injured, further weakening his power. But he spoke so confidently, clearly indicating he had other trump cards and wasn't truly afraid of Dragon subduing ancient Buddha.
Amit Bao.
Dragon subduing ancient Buddha sighed, chanted a Buddha's name, slowly stood up, and turned around. He looked at the children lying on the ground, his eyes full of pity, and said softly,
It's all this Buddha's fault. Don't blame yourselves.
Saying the kindest words while doing the most evil deeds, this kind of person made Lin Moyu feel sick. Dragon subduing ancient Buddha walked to little May's side, only half a step away from her. The unconscious little May suddenly twitched her nose a few times and cried out,
It stinks too much. I can't stand it.
The poison dragon and Dragon subduing ancient Buddha both looked shocked. Before they could react, little May suddenly flew back several dozen meters. Lin Moyu revealed himself, holding little May in his arms. Little May greedily breathed in Lin Moyu's scent while saying,
Big brother, he really stinks too much. Little May couldn't help it.
Lin Moyu held little May and smiled.
Indeed, it's a bit stinky. Now little May should understand clearly.
Little May was very smart. Although not yet 10 years old, she understood everything. Little May nodded.
They're all bad people, wanting to refine us into human pills to eat.
Lin Moyu asked.
Then does little May know who they are?
Looking at the two almost identical dragons subduing ancient Buddhas, little May said with some innocence,
One is the nation's lord, the other little May doesn't know.
Lin Moyu smiled.
The other one is naturally that dragon that was supposed to be killed. Has little May forgotten about that little rabbit?
Little May's eyes lit up.
So that dragon didn't die. The nation's lord has been deceiving us all along.
Lin Moyu patted little May's head.
Very smart. Now you understand, right?
Little May nodded vigorously.
I understand. Little May understands everything now. The nation's lord is just a big liar.
Earlier, when the poison dragon made everyone unconscious, little May seemed to have fainted too, but Lin Moyu had intervened. Actually, little May was conscious. Originally, Lin Moyu wanted to watch more of the show, but he didn't expect little May to be so unbearably disgusted by the stench, so he had to appear early. But this was enough now. As long as little May understood these two fellows' true faces, it was sufficient. As for the other children, Lin Moyu hadn't thought about letting them know the truth. There was no need for that at all. This world was just like this. The truth was often only in the hands of a few. Looking at Lin Moyu and Little Mei talking freely, dragon subduing ancient Buddha and the poison dragon's eyes were full of wariness. Lin Moyu's ability to appear here silently and move freely under their noses clearly showed his strength far surpassed theirs. The two didn't dare to act rashly, not even daring to ask a question. After a while, dragon subduing ancient Buddha said to Lin Moyu,
"Respected senior, may I ask why you've come here?"
He felt Lin Moyu's realm must be higher than his own, so he directly addressed Lin Moyu as senior. At this time, being respectful certainly wouldn't be wrong. Lin Moyu shook his head slightly.
"I've always thought the Buddhist clan was hypocritical, but until I saw you, I realized my previous thoughts weren't harsh enough. Your hypocrisy has reached an extremely high level. If there were a great Tao of hypocrisy, you would surely have achieved it."
Lin Moyu's words were not polite at all, not giving dragon subduing ancient Buddha any face. But dragon subduing ancient Buddha didn't dare to get angry. The more directly Lin Moyu spoke, the less he dared to be angry.
"Ahmed Ba."
Dragon subduing ancient Buddha chanted a Buddha's name.
"Senior's criticism is correct. This old monk has indeed done many things wrong. In the future, I will certainly—"
Lin Moyu interrupted him.
"No need. You have no future."
As he spoke, he pointed a finger, and the space around dragon subduing ancient Buddha suddenly distorted. The skeletal hell instantly appeared and swallowed him. The entire process was completed in an instant. In the blink of an eye, dragon subduing ancient Buddha had disappeared without even letting out a scream. A mere ancient heavenly Buddha equivalent to a human heavenly venerable. Even if he was only half a step away from becoming an ancient Buddha, what use was that? A second later, a severed hand fell out of the distorted space, landing on the ground. This was intentionally left by Lin Moyu. The poison dragon was terrified, his whole body trembling, not daring to move. He didn't dare to escape. Lin Moyu could kill dragon subduing ancient Buddha with a wave of his hand. What was the point of escaping? He'd probably lose his life as soon as he turned around. Lin Moyu looked at the poison dragon.
"Show your true form."
The poison dragon didn't even think and immediately revealed his true form. Now, whatever Lin Moyu said, he would immediately do. Perhaps this way he could keep his little life. The poison dragon's true form was identical to the one under the statue outside the Buddha city. Lin Moyu said to Little Mei,
"See? The one you saw earlier was this fellow."
Little Mei looked at the poison dragon.
"It really is exactly the same."
Lin Moyu thought, and the children who had fallen from the Buddha stairs earlier were all released by him. These children were also in an unconscious state, but the poison in their bodies hadn't been neutralized yet. Lin Moyu flicked out several streams of life force, directly neutralizing the poison in these children's bodies in front of the poison dragon. Seeing these children, the poison dragon became even more fearful of Lin Moyu. This meant that as early as the Buddha stairs, Lin Moyu was already there. In other words, everything he had done and said before, Lin Moyu knew it all. No wonder Lin Moyu said dragon subduing ancient Buddha was hypocritical. Lin Moyu said,
"Take these children back to where they came from, then come back here. Don't think about escaping. You know you can't escape."
The poison dragon certainly knew he couldn't escape. He immediately nodded and said,
"Yes, sir. This little dragon will send them back right away."
Saying this, he took these children back separately. The children had been brought by him, so he returned them to where they came from. Before long, these children had been sent back, and the poison dragon honestly returned, lying prostrate before Lin Moyu, not daring to move. In the Buddha hall, Lin Moyu held Little Mei and said to the poison dragon,
"Give me a reason not to kill you."
The poison dragon's whole body trembled, his mind racing, starting to search for a reason. After a few seconds, he seemed to think of something and said urgently,
"This little dragon wants to use a treasure to exchange for my life."
Lin Moyu said,
"Tell me, what treasure is it?"
The little dragon said,
It's a very special treasure, but it's not here. It's in the Buddha realm. This little dragon can guide the senior there. This little dragon guarantees he won't let the senior down.
Lin Moyu said,
If it's a treasure, why don't you go get it yourself?
The little dragon said,
This little dragon's strength is insufficient. If I had strength like seniors, I would have gone to get it long ago.
Lin Moyu said,
Then how do I know you're not deceiving me?
The little dragon hurriedly shook his head.
How would this little dragon dare to deceive senior?
Lin Moyu looked at Little May.
Do you think we can trust him?
Little May shook her head.
I don't know. What does Big Brother think?
Lin Moyu said,
I think dead people are more reliable than living ones.
3225 3225. Chapter 3225. The Cause and Effect, Flesh and Soul Pills. As soon as Lin Moyu spoke, the poison dragon's expression changed drastically. Without thinking, he turned to flee. But it was too late. The space around him distorted, and he saw a sea of fire with countless fierce spirits within it. An eye in the sky was looking at him, and then his consciousness fell into darkness. The hell eye easily extinguished the poison dragon's soul, and the hell spirits devoured his physical body. Like dragons subduing ancient Buddha, only a claw was left behind. Little May stared with big eyes.
Big Brother doesn't want that treasure anymore?
Lin Moyu said,
Of course I do, but I think dead people will be more honest.
As he spoke, he flicked out 2 undying flames, which fell on dragons subduing ancient Buddha's hand and the poison dragon's claw respectively. Their dead bodies quickly began to regenerate. The regeneration was very fast, and in the blink of an eye, they had recovered most of their bodies. Then their souls also began to reform. Having just died, their souls had just scattered, so the reformation was also very quick. In no time, a Buddha and a dragon were kneeling alive before Lin Moyu. Little May stared blankly.
Big Brother, you can bring dead people back to life?
Lin Moyu smiled.
It's not really resurrection. They're actually already dead. Now they're just temporarily restored to life. After a while, they'll still die.
Lin Moyu wasn't lying. If they didn't go into hibernation, they could exist for at most 6,000 days and nights. If they went into hibernation, that time could be greatly extended, but eventually they would still die. Death for them was already a predetermined outcome. At least for now, it couldn't be changed. Lin Moyu said to the poison dragon,
All right, now you can tell me what treasure it is.
Having become a revenant, the poison dragon answered every question.
Actually, I don't know what treasure it is either. About 10 years ago, a shooting star passed through the Buddha nation. I chased after it at the time. The shooting star passed through the Buddha nation and entered the Buddha realm. I also chased into the Buddha realm, chased for a long time, and finally the shooting star entered Yellow Eyebrow Ancient Buddha's Buddha nation. I followed in as well, but in Yellow Eyebrow Ancient Buddha's nation, I didn't dare to act recklessly, so in the end I lost track of it. I only know the general location.
What the poison dragon said while alive was half true and half false, not completely deceiving him. Lin Moyu continued to ask,
How were you injured?
The poison dragon honestly replied,
I made a mistake in my clan and was punished according to clan rules. My soul was injured and my bloodline was weakened. Originally, I had already advanced to become a sacred giant dragon, just one step away from becoming a divine dragon.
Having become a revenant, there was no emotional fluctuation in the poison dragon's words. If he were still alive, he would certainly harbor great resentment. Lin Moyu now understood the structure of the dragon race. Dragons could be divided into elemental giant dragons, sacred giant dragons, and divine dragons based on their bloodlines. In the dragon race, bloodline was above all else with cultivation level secondary. Even if an elemental giant dragon became a Tao Venerable, their status in the dragon race would still be lower than a heavenly venerable realm sacred giant dragon. Regardless of cultivation level, elemental giant dragons were the lowest existence in the dragon race, equivalent to the collateral branches in the beast race. They needed to continuously improve their bloodline, advancing from elemental giant dragon to sacred giant dragon, and finally to divine dragon. In the eyes of the dragon race, although both elemental giant dragons and sacred giant dragons were called dragon race members, they were only on the periphery. Only divine dragons were true dragon race members. As for dragon emperors like those in the small world, they were called mixed blood dragons in the dragon race. Some dragon race members treated them as cannon fodder, while others saw them as a disgrace, an existence even lower than elemental giant dragons. The poison dragon was punished, his bloodline weakened, changing back from a sacred giant dragon to an elemental giant dragon. It must be said, this fellow was quite pitiful. His ideal was to heal his injuries, have his bloodline advance again, and become a sacred giant dragon once more. Then he would find a way to change from a sacred giant dragon to a divine dragon. As long as he became a divine dragon, his previous mistakes would no longer matter. Within the dragon race, the attitude towards divine dragons was completely different from the attitude towards sacred giant dragons. Lin Moyu asked,
"Where did you get the secret method for refining these children into human pills?"
The poison dragon said,
"I got it from a relic. After I was injured and driven out of the dragon race, I wandered everywhere and finally found that relic here. In the relic, I obtained the formula for flesh and soul pills, as well as a pill furnace."
The poison dragon gave the pill formula to Lin Moyu. After examining it, Lin Moyu frowned slightly. Flesh and soul pills were a kind of evil pill. It's unknown who created this pill. The only material used for refining the pill was living beings, and they had to be alive. Combined with a special pill furnace, it was used to refine pills. In the formula, living beings were divided into several types. One type was beings under a certain age who had never cultivated, whether human, beast, spirit beast, or animal. This type of being had a clear soul, and their physical body still retained a trace of the innate aura from birth. This kind of refined soul pill was suitable for recovering soul injuries. The effect of one flesh and soul pill was weak, but if there were hundreds or thousands, it could achieve a good therapeutic effect. In addition, multiple flesh and soul pills could be refined again to produce higher-grade flesh and soul pills. After re-refining, the flesh and soul pills could purify the soul. Once the soul was purified, cultivators like Dragon Subduing Ancient Buddha could gain an increase in cultivation realm. Although the Buddhist inheritance was different from humans, the fundamental Great Tao was still placed on the soul. At that time, when the poison dragon was abducting boys and girls to refine pills, it caused considerable harm to the surrounding area, until Dragon Subduing Ancient Buddha discovered it. They fought a battle resulting in a stalemate. Actually, Dragon Subduing Ancient Buddha didn't want to kill the poison dragon, as he didn't want to offend the dragon race. The poison dragon saw this point and told him about the flesh and soul pills. So everything fell into place naturally. The poison dragon needed to heal his injuries, Dragon Subduing Ancient Buddha wanted to cultivate, and the two hit it off immediately. Dragon Subduing Ancient Buddha and the poison dragon acted out a play together, seemingly killing the poison dragon, and then using this to establish the Dragon Subduing Buddha nation. Using the reputation of subduing dragons, they attracted many people to enter the Dragon Subduing Buddha nation. So the poison dragon no longer needed to go outside to abduct people. He only needed to act out a play every few decades or 100 years to obtain quite a few boys and girls for refining pills, actually becoming more efficient. Moreover, they did it carefully, never being discovered over so many years. During this period, all the soul pills they obtained were split equally between them. Lin Moyu said to Little May,
"Now do you understand everything?"
Little May nodded at this moment.
"I understand now. They really are that bad."
Lin Moyu sighed.
"They are indeed quite bad, but this is how the world is. For their own interests, people can do anything."
Little May seemed to half understand. Lin Moyu didn't explain further, as it was still a bit difficult for Little May to understand these things. Lin Moyu carefully examined the formula for the flesh and soul pills, feeling that this formula wasn't complete. But he knew the poison dragon wouldn't conceal anything.
"Bring the pill furnace here."
The poison dragon shook his head.
"In response to Master, I can't bring this pill furnace."
Can't bring it? Lin Moyu became curious and immediately went to where the pill furnace was located. The pill furnace was under the Buddha stairs, hidden by Buddhist light. Under the Buddha stairs, within the Buddhist light seal, was a completely enclosed valley. A pill furnace tens of meters high stood in the middle of the valley. 3,226 3,226. Chapter 3226. The Shame of the Great Tao Realm. In the valley, there was nothing but the pill furnace. This was the relic the poison dragon had discovered long ago. Besides the pill furnace, there was only a pill formula. Over the years, the valley had been searched countless times. If there had been anything else, it would have been found long ago. On the huge pill furnace, 3 large characters were inscribed in a flowing style. These 3 characters were not in the current script, but in the script of the prehistoric era. Moreover, they had been modified to be closer to divine runes. In the current era, very few people could recognize these characters, but Lin Moyu could.
Soul refining furnace.
The soul refining furnace was of a very high grade, at least above the 7th level Tao Venerable Realm. With the strength of the poison dragon and dragon subduing ancient Buddha, they couldn't refine it. They couldn't, but that didn't mean Lin Moyu couldn't.
Perhaps refining this furnace will yield some information.
Lin Moyu sent out his soul power, injecting it into the soul refining furnace. Perhaps because his soul level was too high, being an innate soul, the entire process went very smoothly. Without much effort, he successfully left his mark on the soul refining furnace. From this moment on, the soul refining furnace became Lin Moyu's possession. The moment he successfully left his mark, a thunderous sound erupted in Lin Moyu's soul world.
Refine heaven, refine earth, refine souls, refine flesh. Within the great Tao, nothing cannot be refined.
The voice turned into a sea of fire, and finally, the sea of fire converged into a middle-aged man. The middle-aged man, wrapped in flames, appeared in Lin Moyu's soul world. He exuded an ancient and vast aura, and his attire wasn't like that of the current era, but more like that of the prehistoric era. Unexpectedly, such a being was hidden in the soul refining furnace. The other party had hidden so well that Lin Moyu hadn't detected him beforehand, allowing him to enter his soul world along with his soul power. However, Lin Moyu wasn't worried at all. No matter how strong you are, even if you're in the Great Tao realm, once you enter my soul world, you have to play by my rules. Lin Moyu's soul looked at the other party and said softly,
Senior, entering without announcement is a bit impolite, isn't it?
The middle-aged man let out a contemptuous laugh.
After waiting for so many years, finally someone worthy has appeared.
Lin Moyu said,
It seems your standards are quite high. You've waited so long. Is it to usurp my body?
The middle-aged man said,
Indeed. With my status, those fellows were just trash, not worthy of my soul. Only the possessor of an innate soul is worthy of being occupied by me, becoming the new flesh for my reincarnation.
It was clear that the other party was very arrogant and self-confident. Perhaps he had the right to be able to preserve his soul from the prehistoric era until now. He must be in the Great Tao realm. Only those in the Great Tao realm could disregard time. But even if he was in the Great Tao realm, so what? That was all in the past. After his soul had passed through so many years, even if it was still alive, how much power could be left? Lin Moyu wasn't in a hurry at all, but leisurely asked,
May I ask how Senior is addressed? If Senior wants to kill this junior, at least let this junior die with understanding.
The middle-aged man smiled and said,
Since you asked, I'll naturally let you die with understanding. I am the soul pill Taoist. Don't worry, I won't kill you. I'll just refine you into a true soul pill. You will become the first pill I refine after my return.
Soul pill Taoist, soul refining furnace, true soul pill, flesh and soul pill. Just from what he said, this fellow should be a pill master, a Great Tao realm pill master. Lin Moyu already knew the function of flesh and soul pills, so what was the use of true soul pills? It seemed that true soul pills needed to be refined using souls, and strong souls were needed for refining. They must be incredibly precious. Lin Moyu said,
It seems Senior experienced that origin catastrophe and was severely injured in it. Your physical body was destroyed, but your soul barely survived using the soul refining furnace. However, I imagine Senior must have fallen into a slumber, probably for a very long time, and only recently awakened. After awakening, Senior has been searching for an existence worthy of becoming your physical body. If I'm not mistaken, the pill formula the poison dragon obtained was also given by Senior, right? This way, the poison dragon would lure in a large number of children to refine flesh and soul pills. Senior probably also searched for a suitable body among the children, while absorbing some of the medicinal effects of the flesh and soul pills. Unfortunately, the effect of flesh and soul pills is mediocre, barely helpful for Senior's injuries. As for why you must find a body with an innate soul, it's probably because you're in the Great Tao realm. The soul of a Great Tao realm being is an innate soul, and you fear an ordinary body couldn't contain your soul. And those people with special physiques not only have innate souls, but their physiques are also very compatible with innate souls. So, your true inner thought is to return to your peak and reach the Great Tao again. As for true soul pills, although this is the first time I've heard of them, I imagine they should be a kind of pill for treating and enhancing the soul, possibly requiring innate souls for refinement. This is also why you've been searching for innate souls.
As the soul pill Taoist listened to Lin Moyu's analysis, his expression changed. From initial disdain to final shock. Lin Moyu's words were basically 70 to 80% correct. The soul pill Taoist couldn't understand how Lin Moyu knew so clearly. His smile gradually faded, and his voice became low.
How do you know all this?
Lin Moyu casually said.
If I say I guessed, you certainly won't believe me, but it's the truth. Actually, many things can be deduced from details. Your words and actions, combined with some things I know, can pretty much guess 7 or 8 out of 10. In fact, I've seen a few like you, but unfortunately, their fates were quite miserable. I have to say, you've waited so many years, but your luck isn't very good.
With each sentence Lin Moyu spoke, the soul pill Taoist's face darkened. Just as he was about to speak, a sword suddenly appeared in Lin Moyu's hand. A spirit with a big head appeared, and Lin Moyu asked,
Big Head, have you heard of a figure called the Soul Pill Taoist?
The big head spirit tried hard to recall.
I seem to have heard of him. Let me think.
After a few seconds, it suddenly exclaimed,
I remember now. I once heard my former master mention that there was a pill master in the Great Tao realm who loved to refine living beings into pills. But master said this person walked a crooked path and was the shame of the Great Tao realm.
In terms of arrogance, Big Head Spirit's former master, with his golden body Silver Soul, was much more arrogant than the Soul Pill Taoist. Lin Moyu just asked, and indeed he had heard of him. Hearing the words,
Shame of the Great Tao realm.
The Soul Pill Taoist was thoroughly enraged.
You're seeking death.
A ball of fierce flames shot out, directly rushing towards Lin Moyu. The cloud-piercing sword hummed and flew out, extinguishing the flames. The big head spirit shouted shrilly.
Well done!
It shouted loudly, but actually, the flames couldn't harm it at all. Lin Moyu chuckled.
Playing with fire in my world, who do you think you are?
The world-burning fire suddenly appeared, instantly enveloping the Soul Pill Taoist. This was Lin Moyu's soul world. He was the master here, controlling the operating rules of the entire world. Screams suddenly rang out, and the Soul Pill Taoist shouted fiercely.
How can you manipulate the heavenly tribulation fire?
Lin Moyu laughed, not answering. The next moment, Supu had already rushed out, the cloud-piercing sword flying out and landing in Supu's hand. The golden fire Great Tao was revealed, and Supu's killing intent became incredibly sharp. The time Great Tao and space Great Tao simultaneously appeared above his head, and time and space began to become chaotic. 3227 3227. Chapter 3227. Participated in the war, but actually didn't. All attacks formed in an instant, like a heavenly annihilation, sweeping over. This was Lin Moyu's soul world. Here, Lin Moyu could exert his strongest combat power. The Time Great Tao and Space Great Tao were no longer affected by the origin continent and could move freely. The soul-pilled Taoist instantly fell into a state of temporal-spatial chaos, his thoughts becoming confused, not knowing where he was. The world-burning fire enveloped him. This was what he called the heavenly tribulation fire. From his exclamation, Lin Moyu could sense his fear. All Tao venerables had to endure the test of heavenly tribulation fire when entering the Great Tao realm. Only by enduring it could they possibly advance to the Great Tao realm. But if those Great Tao realm beings were asked to experience the heavenly tribulation fire again, 99 out of 300 would refuse. The pain of the heavenly tribulation fire would make them feel the might of heaven and earth, leaving them with awe for the Great Tao. Lin Moyu didn't know what relationship his world-burning fire had with the heavenly tribulation fire, but they were extremely similar. Even the soul-pilled Taoist could hardly distinguish between them. The state of temporal-spatial chaos only lasted for an instant before the soul-pilled Taoist recovered, followed by screams echoing through the soul world. The world-burning fire burned fiercely, surrounding him. His soul instantly endured unimaginable pain. Amidst the screams, the soul-refining furnace appeared above the soul-pilled Taoist's head. The furnace was inverted, and a suction force suddenly emerged, trying to suck away the world-burning fire. Su Pu arrived, the golden fire Great Tao erupting violently. Amidst the brilliant golden light, Su Pu swung the cloud-piercing sword, striking the soul-refining furnace. The soul world shook violently for a moment, and the soul-refining furnace was sent flying by the sword strike. The world tree extended countless vines, firmly wrapping around the soul-refining furnace. The furnace shook frantically but could not break free. After sending the soul-refining furnace flying with one sword strike, Su Pu attacked the soul-pilled Taoist, carrying the golden fire Great Tao, his sword strikes falling like raindrops. Su Pu was at the 9th level Tao Venerable realm, far from matching the Great Tao realm, but now the soul-pilled Taoist was no longer in his prime. Great Tao realm beings could live eternally in the river of time, but under endless years, the soul-pilled Taoist cultivation had also decreased significantly. Facing Su Pu wielding the cloud-piercing sword, while constantly enduring the scorching of the world-burning fire, the soul-pilled Taoist couldn't exert his full power and could only barely maintain a non-losing state. Lin Moyu flipped both palms, simultaneously condensing the Three Laws sword and the deadly poison sword. Both swords struck at once. The destiny sword instantly cut away a large amount of the soul-pilled Taoist's destiny, while the deadly poison sword continuously consumed his destiny. With his destiny weakened, the soul-pilled Taoist immediately felt his power decrease significantly. His gaze swept over Lin Moyu, then his eyes widened.
The Destiny Great Tao, you actually have the Destiny Great Tao.
Innate Soul, Destiny Great Tao, Time Great Tao, Space Great Tao. Any one of these, if brought out in the prehistoric era, would be a top existence, let alone in the current era. He felt he had encountered a monster. Lin Moyu slowly said,
There was once a Great Tao realm powerhouse named Golden Thunder. Originally, he had received a reward from the Great Tao and could reincarnate to cultivate again, but he insisted on trying to possess my body. As a result, I had to send him to oblivion. Later, there was an outer realm god who wanted to control me, but in the end, he also perished. Now you also want to possess me. Do you think you're stronger than them?
Lin Moyu's words were like needles, constantly pricking the soul-pilled Taoist. The soul-pilled Taoist, called the shame of the Great Tao realm, unsurprisingly, wasn't very strong in combat power among Great Tao realm beings. Lin Moyu felt his combat power was far inferior to the celestial fox ancestors. To deal with such a remnant soul, he didn't even need to use his full power. The soul-pilled Taoist now deeply regretted provoking Lin Moyu, this monster. He regretted becoming too excited upon seeing an innate soul after waiting for so many years. He should have investigated more thoroughly, seeing the other party's true situation before deciding whether to come out. He could have pretended to be an old senior, gaining the other party's goodwill before deciding how to act. But now it was too late to say all this. The world-burning fire burned him painfully. Supu's attacks left him no chance to think of anything else, and Lin Moyu's words constantly provoked him. The golden thunder Lin Moyu mentioned, he knew. That great Tao realm being was even stronger than himself in combat power. But Lin Moyu actually said he had killed Golden Thunder. The soul pill Taoist couldn't tell if this was true or false, but he knew very well that if this continued, he would truly perish. He was now a soul, and his power decreased with every bit used. The soul pill Taoist couldn't help but shout.
This old one was wrong this time. I apologize and admit my mistake. How about we stop here?
Lin Moyu shook his head.
Do you think you're in a position to say these things to me now? Negotiations require bargaining chips. What are your bargaining chips?
The soul pill Taoist immediately said.
This old one can give you the formula for soul pills.
Lin Moyu was unmoved.
Whether flesh and soul pills or true soul pills, they're of no use to me.
The soul pill Taoist hurriedly said.
Not just flesh and soul pills and true soul pills, there are other soul pill formulas that are very useful for cultivation after the great Tao realm.
Lin Moyu thought for a moment, and the world-burning fire immediately weakened by more than half. Supu's attacks also eased, and the soul pill Taoist pressure was instantly relieved significantly. The soul pill Taoist thought Lin Moyu was tempted and couldn't help but sigh in relief. At this time, Lin Moyu said,
Besides soul pills, I have a few questions. If your answers can satisfy me, I might consider letting you go.
The soul pill Taoist immediately said,
Ask away.
Lin Moyu asked,
What exactly happened during the prehistoric origin catastrophe? Why did the God realm and Black Blood realm invade the origin continent? Besides them, which other worlds participated back then? Tell me everything you know.
The soul pill Taoist was stunned for a moment, then immediately said,
So many years have passed, why are you asking about this?
Lin Moyu's voice turned cold.
Answer what I ask, don't ask me why. You're not in a position to.
The soul pill Taoist was furious but had no way to respond, being in a weaker position now. The soul pill Taoist said in a low voice,
This old one doesn't know why the God realm and Black Blood realm invaded the origin continent, nor do I know when they invaded. At that time, this old one was in seclusion refining pills. When I came out, the Great War had already been going on for some time. Besides the God realm and Black Blood realm, there were also the Blood Rat realm, Firewood realm, and Seven Star realm. The Blood Rat realm was subordinate to the Black Blood realm, while the Firewood realm and Seven Star realm were subordinate to the God realm. They were responsible for attacking the origin continent, while the God realm and Black Blood realm were responsible for attacking the Great Tao beyond the sky.
Lin Moyu asked,
Why don't you know? You should have participated in the war after coming out of seclusion. Didn't you hear others talk about it?
The soul pill Taoist laughed bitterly.
This old one did participate in the war, but actually didn't. As soon as I came out of seclusion, I encountered a being from the Black Blood realm. I was no match.
He didn't continue, but Lin Moyu could guess. He encountered a powerful being from the Black Blood realm, was no match, his physical body was destroyed, and only a remnant soul escaped with the soul refining furnace, fleeing from the Great Tao beyond the sky into the origin continent. 3228 3228. Chapter 3228. Another one crushed to death. The soul pill Taoist wasn't very strong in combat and was quite unlucky. While he was in seclusion refining pills, the origin catastrophe descended. After emerging, before he could even cry out, he encountered someone from the Black Blood realm. He was no match for them, his physical body was destroyed, and his soul hid in the soul refining furnace, escaping disaster and falling from the outer Great Tao into the origin continent. At that time, his soul must have fallen into slumber. He didn't know how long he slept, but when he awoke, he was already here. The whole process was unfortunate, but not truly very unlucky. At least he didn't fall into one of the 5 sunken continents. The soul pill Taoist said softly,
I've told you everything I know.
Lin Moyu said,
All right, then I won't torment you anymore. I'll send you off quickly.
The Soul Pill Taoist's expression changed drastically.
You're actually going back on your word.
Lin Moyu shook his head.
I only said I would consider sparing you. I never promised to actually spare you. Everything you've said I already know. You saying it is equivalent to saying nothing. Moreover, you used flesh and soul pills to tempt the poison dragon. Over these years, who knows how many people you've harmed, accumulating boundless karma. Your destiny has already fallen to rock bottom. Even if you lived, you would only encounter misfortune after misfortune, eventually dying an unnatural death. So it's better if I send you off.
Lin Moyu focused his thoughts, and the world-burning fire became vigorous again. Su Pu's attacks also instantly became sharp. The Soul Pill Taoist roared in anger.
You liar! I'll fight you to the death.
Raging flames erupted from his body, intertwining with the world-burning fire. The Soul Pill Taoist used a vast amount of soul power, forcibly pushing back the world-burning fire. The world-burning fire was severely impacted, its effect greatly reduced. Lin Moyu knew his world-burning fire wasn't strong enough yet. Against a soul in the Great Tao realm, it wasn't sufficient. Flames soared from the Soul Pill Taoist's body, preventing Su Pu from approaching. He roared repeatedly.
Today I'll burn your soul world to ashes. Soul refining furnace.
With his roar, he really began to fight desperately, using his soul power without regard for cost. He wanted to summon back the soul refining furnace, spewing endless flames to burn Lin Moyu's soul world. After all, he was once in the Great Tao realm. His vast soul power continuously impacted the soul world, causing it to shake violently, seeming like it might collapse at any moment. The soul refining furnace, originally controlled by the world tree, heard the summons and began to struggle violently. Endless flames burst from the furnace, burning the world tree. The soul refining furnace was very strong, and its flames were formidable. The world tree couldn't withstand it, and many vines were burned to ash. The soul refining furnace broke free and flew towards the Soul Pill Taoist. It was the Soul Pill Taoist's treasure. The world tree didn't back down, wrapping around the divine province cauldron and smashing it towards the furnace. Bang! With a violent collision, the soul refining furnace was knocked away again.
It's quite hard.
Lin Moyu was somewhat surprised. The hardness of the soul refining furnace exceeded his expectations. The divine province cauldron was the hardest thing Lin Moyu had seen, second only to the calamity scepter. Now, hitting the soul refining furnace only knocked it away without causing any damage. Lin Moyu immediately realized that the soul refining furnace wasn't a simple Tao venerable realm treasure. It might have surpassed the great Tao realm. When the Soul Pill Taoist saw the divine province cauldron, he cried out again.
The divine province cauldron. How can it be in your hands?
Lin Moyu was slightly stunned.
Is there a problem with the divine province cauldron being in my hands?
The Soul Pill Taoist cried out.
The divine province cauldron suppresses the origin continent. If it's in your hands, what happened to the origin continent?
Lin Moyu understood. When he was severely injured, the origin continent hadn't been shattered yet, so he didn't know at all that 5 of the 9 parts of the origin continent had collapsed. From this, it seemed he really didn't know much. There was no need to keep such a fellow alive anymore. Since that was the case, it was time to kill him. Lin Moyu's killing intent stirred, and Su Pu's attacks became even more fierce, firmly suppressing the Soul Pill Taoist. The Soul Pill Taoist's combat power was indeed not strong, and with the soul refining furnace suppressed by the world tree, without his treasure, he had no power to fight back. Lin Moyu spread his time wings, turning into a stream of light and charging forward. He instantly reached the Soul Pill Taoist, the calamity scepter appearing in his hand. With a thought,
Destiny explosion!
The Soul Pill Taoist's destiny exploded, bursting within his soul. He cried out in pain again. The violent explosion left him dazed and confused. By the time he came to his senses, Lin Moyu was already before him, raising a scepter he didn't recognize. The Soul Pill Taoist didn't know the calamity scepter, But his instincts told him this thing was very dangerous. In this moment of life and death, the soul pill Taoist suddenly erupted with all his power. Flames soared, soul fire burned fiercely, trying to force Lin Moyu back. But Lin Moyu ignored it all, still bringing down the Calamity Scepter. The soul gem on the Calamity Scepter suddenly lit up, an earthy yellow light enveloping Lin Moyu, blocking the soul pill Taoist's flames.
No!
Seeing the scepter pierce through the flames, the soul pill Taoist let out a scream. Bang! The Calamity Scepter smashed into the soul pill Taoist, instantly shattering him into pieces, his soul and Tao destroyed. Even outer realm gods couldn't withstand the Calamity Scepter, let alone the soul pill Taoist. The world-burning fire burned again. The soul pill Taoist soul was shattered, but the soul fragments remained. These were good things not to be wasted. Great Tao realm soul fragments weren't easy to refine. The world-burning fire burned continuously, refining them very slowly. Lin Moyu wasn't in a hurry. His attention turned to the soul refining furnace. After the soul pill Taoist's death, the soul refining furnace immediately went still, not moving at all. With a thought, the world tree brought the soul refining furnace before Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu felt the soul refining furnace was unusual. It should be beyond the Tao Venerable Realm. There weren't many great Tao realm treasures. Most great Tao realm powerhouses didn't even have great Tao realm treasures. With the soul pill Taoist's strength, he shouldn't have possessed a treasure like the soul refining furnace. Now that the soul pill Taoist was dead, the soul refining furnace became ownerless. Lin Moyu began to attempt refining it. Vast soul power poured into the soul refining furnace. It was like a sponge, continuously absorbing Lin Moyu's soul power. As more and more soul power was injected, patterns on the furnace body began to light up. When all the patterns on the furnace body lit up, the refinement would be successful. The soul power required by the soul refining furnace exceeded Lin Moyu's expectations, far surpassing ordinary Tao Venerables. To refine this furnace, one would need to be at least 8th or 9th level Tao Venerable. Fortunately, he had the world tree behind him, able to provide endless soul power, giving him the chance to refine it. Half an hour later, all the patterns on the soul refining furnace finally lit up. At the moment of successful refinement, a vast amount of information was transmitted from the soul refining furnace. The information contained 3 pill formulas: flesh and soul pills, true soul pills, and void soul pills. Flesh and soul pills used physical bodies and souls as materials. They had 2 main functions. One was to repair the soul, and the other was to increase cultivation. Flesh and soul pills were only effective for those below the Great Tao realm, useless for those above. The seemingly simple flesh and soul pills were actually very complex. Flesh and soul pills required beings who had never cultivated and were less than 1,000 years old as materials. This was actually for that trace of innate energy in living beings. Once over 10 years old, the innate energy would dissipate, making it impossible to refine flesh and soul pills. Once a being had cultivated, the innate energy would also dissipate, likewise making it impossible to refine flesh and soul pills. Furthermore, flesh and soul pills could be further divided into first refinement, second refinement, and third refinement. First refinement corresponded to below Tao Venerable. Second refinement corresponded to Tao Venerable, or those about to break through to Tao Venerable. Third refinement corresponded to 7th level Tao Venerable and above, or those about to break through to the Tao Venerable realm. Second refinement was actually re-refining first refinement flesh and soul pills, at a ratio of 10 to 1, 10 pills refined into 1. Third refinement was the same, re-refining second refinement pills, also at a ratio of 10 to 1. 3229 3229. Chapter 3229. Great, Big Brother finally woke up. Looking at the detailed information on the flesh and soul pills, Lin Moyu murmured softly,
"This pill is very sinister and harms the natural order, creating endless karma. I really wonder what kind of person would create such a pill."
There are countless pill formulas, and there are millions of pills that can increase cultivation. but such insidious and vicious pills are very rare. Lin Moyu felt a trace of disdain for the person who created this pill. Suddenly, he realized something was wrong.
No, I'm thinking about it wrong. My thinking is too narrow. This pill formula is very special. It doesn't rely on the great Tao. It only requires that trace of innate energy. If you use human children to refine pills, it's naturally extremely sinister. But what if you use creatures from other worlds?
Flesh and soul pills don't require the great Tao. They only need innate energy, which gives them a kind of universality. In other words, this kind of pill doesn't discriminate against the great Tao world. Lin Moyu thought that if the creator of this pill formula targeted creatures from other worlds, it would be completely different. Although still insidious for the origin continent, it might be the best method. Used well, it could wipe out other worlds completely, leaving no survivors. Taken further, it could even involve raising other worlds like livestock, using their creatures as nourishment to strengthen oneself. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but sigh.
Though insidious, when has the struggle between worlds not been cruel? The karma of other worlds has nothing to do with our world.
Lin Moyu continued to examine the true soul pills. True soul pills are refined using souls as materials. They require souls from accomplished cultivators. The higher the cultivation, the stronger the soul, and thus the stronger the refined true soul pill. True soul pills also have first, second, and third refinements. A true soul pill refined from a Tao Venerable soul can enhance a Tao Venerable's cultivation. The effect is better than flesh and soul pills but has a drawback. One must endure the backlash from true soul pills, which affects one's foundation. Occasional use is fine, but they can't be used long-term. Each use requires a lot of time to repair one's foundation. This is an inherent side effect of the pill. To eliminate this side effect, one must perform second or even third refinement on the pill. This raises requirements for quantity. A Tao Venerable wanting to enhance their cultivation with third refinement true soul pills would need to kill hundreds of Tao Venerables and obtain their souls for refinement. It's easy to see how difficult this would be. For example, dragon subduing ancient Buddha and the poison dragon would need to kill supremes or ancient heavenly Buddhas of their level to refine true soul pills. Killing 1 or 2 might be possible. Killing 100 or 200 would be a dream.
True soul pills require that trace of true spirit power in souls. They don't rely on the great Tao and are similar in type to flesh and soul pills. This pill was created to deal with cultivators from other worlds.
Lin Moyu thought of 4 words.
Sustain war with war.
By killing cultivators from other worlds and collecting their souls for pill refinement to strengthen oneself. It could also involve raising other worlds like livestock. With certain methods, one could obtain true soul pills continuously. The methods are equally insidious but very effective. Having finished examining flesh and soul pills and true soul pills, only void soul pills remained. After examining them, Lin Moyu couldn't help but sigh.
The person who created this pill formula was truly brilliant.
He was now 100% certain that the creator of these pill formulas was definitely not Soul Pill Taoist. Soul Pill Taoist merely stumbled upon the soul refining furnace and obtained these 3 formulas. The creator must have been more ancient than even the era of the origin catastrophe. Void soul pills require lost souls from within soul void as materials. Using enough lost souls as materials can refine pills that enhance soul levels. However, they have high requirements for lost souls. At least 10 lost souls from the Great Tao realm are needed to refine 1 void soul pill. But void soul pills are extremely effective. 1 void soul pill can elevate a 9th level Tao Venerable soul to a half-step innate level. Half-step innate means having 1 foot in the Great Tao realm. With higher soul levels come easier comprehension of the Great Tao. Simply put, cultivation speed increases significantly. Moreover, breaking through 9th level Tao Venerable and facing Great Tao trials becomes easier too. This is why those with special physiques find breaking through to the Great Tao realm much easier than ordinary cultivators, because their souls are already innate souls. If one had 3 void soul pills, they could directly elevate their soul into an innate state. Breaking through into the Great Tao realm would then be almost guaranteed. The three types of soul pills have different functions but all serve great purposes. How they are used depends on the alchemist refining them. Moreover, refining these pills requires using the soul refining furnace. No other furnace will do. Lin Moyu felt he had gained immensely this time. These three types of soul pills might prove invaluable in future endeavors. Besides acquiring the soul refining furnace and three types of soul pills, there was another unexpected gain this time around. Lin Moyu finally understood how innate souls were classified by level. Innate souls classification actually corresponds with levels within Great Tao realms too. After reaching Great Tao realms, cultivation focuses mainly on one's own spirit, though physical bodies can still be cultivated traditionally. But typically levels are based on spirits instead. Even among innate spirits, there exist 9 different grades. The lowest being 9th grade innate spirits, which most newly entered Great Tao realm individuals possess. Some special physique individuals possess innate spirits right upon birth. Though possessing innate spirits initially, they cannot utilize them until reaching Great Tao realms. Upon entering such realms, they become 8th grade or even 7th grade innates directly. Individuals like Little Moon possessing natural jade spirits might directly possess 7th grade innates upon entering such realms. Lin Moyu felt his own spirit level would at least reach 7th grade innates upon entering such realms. Higher spirit levels mean greater harmony with the Great Tao, allowing greater utilization thereof effortlessly. Great Tao realms represent merging into the Great Tao itself. Receiving protection thereof grants immortality, imperviousness against time, and limitless potential. Lin Moyu mused aloud.
9th grade innates. 1st grade innates. Truly fascinating. To become Lord of the Great Tao, one must first achieve 1st grade innates. And within Soul Void lies opportunities for enhancing spirit levels.
Enhancing spirit levels proves exceedingly difficult, hence why those in the Great Tao seek out Soul Void, to enhance their own spirit levels. Finally, the world-burning fire completely refined the Soul Pill Taoist's fragmented spirit, transforming fragments into numerous tiny crystals. Though small individually, their combined total reached several hundred pieces. When quality lacks, quantity compensates instead. With just one wave, these tiny crystals flew towards Dragon Soul Crystal, excitedly devouring them whole eagerly.
Eating so fast? No one's competing against you.
Lin Moyu chuckled softly before returning consciousness back unto reality once more. In reality, Little May watched anxiously yet dared not disturb him until seeing eyes open again, joyfully exclaiming aloud.
Great! Big Brother finally woke up.
3,233,230. Chapter 3230. I can find a guarantor. Just now, when the Soul Pill Taoist entered Lin Moyu's soul world and they battled, Lin Moyu couldn't focus on anything else. To Little May, Lin Moyu appeared to be standing still with his eyes closed, like a statue. Soon after, the huge soul refining furnace also disappeared, but Lin Moyu remained motionless. Little May began to worry. She was very concerned about Lin Moyu but didn't dare disturb him. After anxiously waiting for a long time, Lin Moyu finally woke up. Lin Moyu patted Little May's head.
It's all right. Everything's fine now.
Little May nodded.
Are we going back now?
Lin Moyu said.
Yes, we should go back.
He took Little May back to the Buddha Hall. Inside, Dragon subduing ancient Buddha, now a revenant, still stood there motionless. Without Lin Moyu's orders, he wouldn't take any action. Lin Moyu thought for a moment and mentally commanded Dragon subduing ancient Buddha.
Continue managing this Buddha nation. You don't need to appear when there's nothing important. Stay in a dormant state.
Revenants have a 6,000-day lifespan. If they maintain dormancy often, that time can extend significantly, lasting hundreds or even thousands of years. Although Dragon subduing ancient Buddha had become a revenant, it didn't mean he lost his wisdom. He retained all his memories from when he was alive and could handle ordinary matters normally. Even if an ancient Buddha came here, it would be difficult to notice anything unusual. Dragon subduing ancient Buddha bowed to Lin Moyu, then walked to his position, sat cross-legged, and Buddhist light appeared around him, just like usual. Others would think he was cultivating, but he had actually entered dormancy. Lin Moyu took away the poison dragon, then left the Buddha hall with little Mei. Lin Moyu glanced around and saw little Mei's mother still at the bottom of the Buddha stairs, crying sorrowfully with tears in her eyes. Many people had gathered at the bottom of the wooden stairs earlier, but now they had mostly dispersed. The children had all been sent back. After bowing, the adults took their children home. Only little Mei hadn't returned, so her mother was naturally heartbroken. Lin Moyu descended with little Mei, unnoticed by anyone. Seeing her mother crying so sadly, little Mei became anxious immediately. She wanted to go over, but Lin Moyu stopped her. Lin Moyu said,
"Don't worry, little Mei. Your mother thinks something happened to you, that's why she's crying. Once she knows you're okay, she'll stop crying. Little Mei, go back with your mother first. Don't mention what happened today. I'll come find you later."
Little Mei nodded understandingly.
Little Mei will wait for Big Brother.
Lin Moyu nodded.
Go on.
With a slight spatial distortion, little Mei appeared at the bottom of the Buddha stairs. For some reason, no one found little Mei's appearance surprising. It was as if little Mei should have been there all along. Lin Moyu used his soul power to instantly influence everyone's thoughts and perceptions, making them feel everything was normal. Dealing with these ordinary people who hadn't cultivated was extremely simple. That's why in various Buddha nations, almost everyone was extremely devout towards their Buddha lords, even to the point of losing themselves. Little Mei ran to her mother's side and hugged her. Seeing her daughter return safely, little Mei's mother cried even harder, but now out of joy rather than sorrow. Lin Moyu had also influenced little Mei's mother, so she wasn't surprised by little Mei's appearance. The two hugged and cried for a while before getting up to leave. Lin Moyu silently followed them out of the city. Little Mei's home wasn't far from Buddha City, and Lin Moyu followed all the way to little Mei's house. He looked around near little Mei's house but found no trace of any magical treasures.
The poison dragon said 10 years ago he saw a treasure streak across the sky like a meteor before entering Yellow Eyebrow Ancient Buddha's nation. Little Mei is almost 10 years old now. Calculating the time, it's about when little Mei would have dissolved herself for reincarnation. Could the treasure the poison dragon mentioned be little Mei's reincarnation treasure? If so, then I'll need to visit Yellow Eyebrow Ancient Buddha's nation.
Lin Moyu calculated his route. His destination for this trip was Green Lamp Ancient Buddha's nation. Green Lamp Ancient Buddha's nation was located in the Buddha realm. He was currently in the southeast of the Buddha realm and needed to cross most of it to reach his destination. Traveling through the Buddha realm wasn't as simple as imagined. There were many rules. This was why the hurricane warship always went around the Buddha nations. According to the original route, he would indeed pass by Yellow Eyebrow Ancient Buddha's nation. Originally, he hadn't planned to enter it, but if it was related to little Mei's reincarnation treasure, he would have to go. As for whether to use the reincarnation treasure after obtaining it, that was another matter. Having it was one thing, using it was another. After waiting half a day, Lin Moyu slowly descended and entered the village where little Mei's family lived. The small village where little Mei lived had 200 to 300 households, neither big nor small. Lin Moyu's arrival didn't attract anyone's attention. Everyone in the village ignored Lin Moyu as if he didn't exist. Lin Moyu arrived at little Mei's house and knocked on the door. Soon, little Mei's mother came to open the door. She curiously looked at Lin Moyu and asked,
"Who are you looking for?"
Lin Moyu smiled and said,
"Hello, I'm Lin Moyu. I'm here to see little Mei."
Little Mei's mother asked,
"You know little Mei?"
Lin Moyu smiled.
"May I come in and explain?"
His voice carried a special power, causing little Mei's mother to immediately say,
"All right, please come in."
Inside the house, little Mei was carrying a basin of water out. Seeing Lin Moyu, she happily called out,
"Big brother, you're here."
After putting down the water basin, she immediately ran over, stuck close to Lin Moyu, and sniffed hard at his scent. Little May's mother asked.
What business do you have with Little May?
Lin Moyu smiled and said,
I want to take Little May as my disciple.
Little May's mother was slightly stunned. Then her expression changed.
What did you say?
Lin Moyu could easily make Little May's mother agree, or even directly take Little May away without issue, but he didn't want to do that. At this moment, a boy about 6 or 7 years old walked out from inside and called Little May.
Sister.
By this time, Lin Moyu had learned about Little May's family situation. Little May had a 7-year-old brother and a father who had been bedridden for 3 years with both legs broken. The household affairs were all managed by her mother. Fortunately, life here was stable, and with the help from the village, the family managed to avoid going hungry. Now that Little May had grown up, she could also help with many household chores. Little May's mother watched Lin Moyu warily, as if he was going to snatch away her child. She called to Little May,
Come here.
Although Little May was reluctant, she still returned to her mother's side. Lin Moyu smiled and said,
Little May has cultivation talent. She's not an ordinary person. I want to take her as my disciple. If you don't believe me, I can find someone to vouch for me.
Little May's mother frowned and said,
Who would vouch?
Lin Moyu said,
How about the Lord of the Dragon subduing Buddha Nation? I'll have him come over right now.
Little May's mother was stunned. Her eyes filled with shock and uncertainty. Soon after, countless rays of light appeared outside the house, along with the sound of Buddhist chants filling the air. Then came the sound of villagers bowing.
Greetings to the nation, Lord. Greetings to the nation, Lord. Greetings to the nation, Lord.
The sounds of bowing rose and fell, one after another. Little May's brother ran outside to take a look, then immediately ran back in, shouting loudly,
Mother, sister, it's really the nation Lord who has come.
3231, 3231. Chapter 3231. It's impossible to have no self-interest. Dragon subduing ancient Buddha's sudden arrival in this small village stunned all the villagers. This wasn't just a manifestation, but a personal descent. Usually, dragon subduing ancient Buddha rarely moved about in person. Once he appeared, it must be for something important. When Little May and her mother came out, they saw villagers kneeling everywhere, each with a face full of devotion. Little May's mother immediately knelt down as well, trying to pull Little May down with her. However, this time Little May didn't kneel. Her small figure stood firmly and stubbornly. Looking at this, Little May gave people a feeling that her status was even higher than dragon subduing ancient Buddha. Lin Moyu said,
Dragon subduing, I want to take Little May as my disciple. I called you here to be a guarantor.
He spoke without any courtesy, directly calling dragon subduing ancient Buddha by name, surprising everyone. In ordinary people's eyes, this was a great disrespect to dragon subduing ancient Buddha. After all, this was dragon subduing ancient Buddha's Buddha nation. Even if a greater Buddha came, they would maintain basic respect. But dragon subduing ancient Buddha didn't show any temper.
Being taken as a disciple by the Sir is her good fortune.
He said to Little May,
The Sir has great abilities. Little May has encountered a great opportunity. Rather than living a mediocre life, it's better to cultivate well and seek longevity.
Dragon subduing ancient Buddha's words were like a decree. No matter how reluctant Little May's mother was in her heart, she nodded repeatedly.
Everything will be as the nation Lord says.
Lin Moyu waved his hand to dismiss people.
All right, I'll handle the rest personally. You can go back if you have nothing else. I'll call you if needed. Ahmed Ba.
Dragon subduing ancient Buddha gave Lin Moyu a grand salute before riding brilliant Buddhist light back to his Buddha hall. Lin Moyu felt that this half-fake dragon subduing ancient Buddha acted quite well, thinking to himself,
It seems revenants aren't just for fighting. Perhaps my thinking can be broader.
A good while after dragon subduing ancient Buddha left, the villagers dared to stand up. Their eyes were full of awe when looking at Lin Moyu. Someone who could summon dragons subduing ancient Buddha at will was beyond their comparison. These villagers didn't even dare to come up and greet Lin Moyu or say hello. Lin Moyu said,
I heard little May's father's legs were broken.
Little May's mother, now full of awe towards Lin Moyu, carefully said,
In response to Sir, little May's father was injured while hunting and had to have both legs amputated. Take me to see him.
As soon as he finished speaking, little May was the first to say,
Big brother, follow me.
She pulled Lin Moyu towards the house. Only little May wasn't afraid of Lin Moyu, unlike the others. Little May knew Lin Moyu had great divine abilities. Perhaps her father could be saved. Inside the house, a middle-aged man lay on the bed, both legs amputated from the thighs down. The middle-aged man was currently in a deep sleep. Little May said,
Big brother, since father lost his legs, he's been sleeping longer and longer, and awake less and less.
Lin Moyu's glance was enough to understand the situation. Little May's father's leg injury was only external. The real injury was to his soul. What injured him wasn't an ordinary beast, but a spirit beast. Although amputating his legs saved his life, his soul was injured, naturally causing him to sleep more and be awake less. In this situation, just keeping his life was already incredibly lucky. In Lin Moyu's view, this couldn't be separated from Little May. Little May's vast destiny benefited her family, allowing her father to miraculously survive. Little May carefully asked,
Big brother, can my father still be cured?
Lin Moyu patted Little May's head.
It's a small matter.
He flicked out a spirit flower, which blossomed and enveloped Little May's father. If it were just a physical injury, the power of life would be enough to restore him. But now there was a soul injury, so Lin Moyu decisively chose to use a spirit flower. For ordinary people, the effect of a spirit flower was like a miracle. In just a moment, the spirit flower completed its mission and then dissipated. The middle-aged man on the bed had his legs fully restored, and his soul was completely healed. Seeing such a miraculous thing, Little May's mother was stunned speechless. Little May's brother was also staring with big eyes, murmuring,
The legs grew back.
Little May happily exclaimed,
Big brother is so amazing.
Lin Moyu smiled and said,
Little May will be just as amazing in the future.
Little May's eyes were full of longing.
Really?
Lin Moyu nodded.
Of course, even more amazing.
If Little May had any hesitation before about following Lin Moyu, after all, she was still just a 10-year-old child, and leaving her parents made her a bit uneasy. But now, she was determined to become as powerful as Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu saw this in Little May's eyes.
Little May's father will wake up soon. Your family should have a good talk. I'll come to pick up Little May in 3 days.
After saying this, Lin Moyu's figure dissipated. After Lin Moyu left, Little May's mother finally burst into tears. These years she had endured too much. Now everything was finally all right. Amidst the crying, Little May's father slowly woke up. Lin Moyu hadn't gone far, just hiding in midair. For him, these things were all trivial matters. With a thought, he could bring down sweet dew to bless the village, or in another thought, completely shatter the entire village. Not just this village, if he got slightly angry, the entire Buddha nation would collapse. The reason for going to such lengths was to make Little May completely at ease. He needed Little May to follow him in cultivation wholeheartedly, without any reservations and willingly. Only in this way could Little May's destiny benefit him to the maximum. Lin Moyu knew he had self-interest. At this level of cultivation, it was impossible to have no self-interest. Lin Moyu never considered himself a completely benevolent person. Everything he did naturally had a purpose. But for Little May, doing this was beneficial for both parties. Otherwise, Little May might waste her life here, which would mean her dissolution and reincarnation had failed. Moreover, even if Little May could step on the path of cultivation, she would likely walk the Buddhist path. But dissolution and reincarnation was a method of human Tao venerables. A Tao venerable reincarnating and then turning to Buddhist methods would be laughable. So Lin Moyu didn't mind wasting a bit of time and using some methods to make little Mei sincerely follow him in cultivation. Little Mei's father's full recovery became the biggest joy for Little Mei's family in recent years. After learning about everything, Little Mei's father fully supported Little Mei in becoming an apprentice. Although leaving home was hard, compared to Little Mei's future, it was nothing. As parents, as long as their child was doing well, that was enough. Little Mei's whole family supported her following Lin Moyu to cultivate and have her own brilliant life. Seeing this, Lin Moyu knew this matter was settled. 3 days later, Lin Moyu appeared again at Little Mei's home. After a farewell, Little Mei performed the grand ceremony of becoming a disciple in front of everyone, bowing 3 times and kowtowing 9 times to Lin Moyu. With Lin Moyu's personality, he originally didn't like this kind of thing. When he took Little Moon as a disciple back then, it was very casual. But this time was different. This time, the grand ceremony of becoming a disciple couldn't be avoided. Not only could it not be avoided, but it had to be done very formally. The moment Little Mei completed the discipleship ceremony, invisible mist suddenly appeared around Lin Moyu, and the destiny Great Tao naturally emerged. Little Mei's vast destiny fell onto him, and his own destiny rapidly increased. 3232 3232 Chapter 3232. A crazy method, using the mind 7 ways at once. Countless insights naturally emerged. At this moment, Lin Moyu's understanding of the destiny Great Tao deepened significantly. A roaring sound came from his soul, and his entire soul world shook and trembled. As his destiny improved, his soul also benefited. Originally, the 59th Tao pattern was only half formed, but now the condensation speed suddenly increased. In the blink of an eye, it was successfully formed, and then the 60th Tao pattern also smoothly condensed. 1.5 Tao patterns took only about 10 seconds, without even needing Lin Moyu's personal intervention. Everything happened naturally. On the surface, Lin Moyu remained expressionless, accepting Little Mei's discipleship tea. Inwardly, however, he was extremely shocked.
So it turns out like this. The fastest way to condense Tao patterns isn't through great Tao rewards.
He had always believed that the fastest time for condensing Tao patterns was when he received great Tao rewards. Now it seemed that wasn't the case. Just now, when his destiny greatly increased, his destiny Great Tao was affected. After naturally emerging, his comprehension of the Great Tao suddenly improved by a large margin. This comprehension instantly materialized in the form of Tao patterns. In a short time, it produced Tao patterns for him, faster than Great Tao rewards. This situation made Lin Moyu realize that the foundation of cultivation was still one's own comprehension of the Great Tao. If he didn't comprehend the Great Tao and only sought opportunities for Great Tao rewards, that would be putting the cart before the horse. However, comprehending the Great Tao wasn't so easy either. He had 6 Great Taos, and except for the 1,000 Stars Great Tao and Strength Great Tao, they all needed comprehension. This was a major project that couldn't be rushed. Lin Moyu decided to divide his attention again, fully utilizing his ability to multitask. Comprehending 4 Great Taos simultaneously wasn't impossible. However, while comprehending the Great Tao, he would still take opportunities for Great Tao rewards when available. In his soul world, a lake of silver water rippled. The silver tree sap was increasing, more than Lin Moyu could consume alone. Last time he returned to Tao Speech City, Lin Moyu also left quite a bit. It was relying on this silver tree sap that Hao Tianzuan and others were able to change their cultivation aptitude, allowing them to raise their upper limits. Otherwise, Hao Tianzuan and the others would have had difficulty touching the Tao Venerable Realm. If it weren't for that detestable blue-robed Taoist taking away his wives, the silver tree sap alone would have been enough to change their talents, allowing them to cultivate smoothly and stay by his side. Now Lin Moyu's soul sat on the lake formed by silver tree sap, using its effects to multitask and comprehend the Great Tao. Currently, his soul was doing 7 things simultaneously. First, condensing Tao patterns. Second, learning formations. Third, researching divine runes. And then comprehending 4 Great Taos at the same time. No matter who was told about this, they would think Lin Moyu had gone mad. But Lin Moyu was doing just that and doing it quite well. After the discipleship ceremony ended, Lin Moyu left with little Mei. Before leaving, Lin Moyu left some origin crystals, enough for little Mei's family to live a comfortable life. Lin Moyu had checked little Mei's parents and brother. Unfortunately, they had no cultivation talent at all and could only be ordinary people in this life. Walking along the road, little Mei curiously asked,
Teacher, when do we start cultivating?
Lin Moyu said,
Master will first teach you a set of breathing techniques. Practice while walking. Once you've mastered the breathing techniques, we can formally start cultivation.
Little Mei happily exclaimed,
Great! What kind of breathing techniques?
Everything was new and exciting to her now. Lin Moyu taught little Mei a set of breathing techniques. Little Mei possessed an innate Tao soul. Although she hadn't recovered her past life memories, some instincts remained in her soul. Practicing while walking, in just a moment, little Mei had already mastered the breathing techniques. If it were an ordinary person, these breathing techniques would take at least a month to get started. Lin Moyu felt like he was seeing another little moon. Back then, little moon, with her innate jade soul, could also get started in an extremely short time. After just 2 days, every breath little Mei took produced wind and thunder sounds. Lin Moyu stopped and gestured for little Mei to sit down and focus on cultivation. As little Mei cultivated, he observed her condition. Gradually, he noticed that between little Mei's breaths, water vapor would spontaneously descend, and when she exhaled, her breath was very cold, even freezing.
Ice power.
Lin Moyu understood that little Mei had cultivated the ice great Tao in her past life. Little Mei was different from little moon. Little moon's innate jade soul was like a blank slate, close to any great Tao and able to cultivate any of them. But little Mei was a body of dissolution and rebirth. In her past life, she had reached the 9th level Tao venerable realm, and the great Tao she cultivated was already inscribed in her soul. After reincarnation, the great Tao she cultivated in her past life still existed. Using simple breathing techniques for 2 days, Lin Moyu knew which great Tao little Mei had cultivated in her past life. So the next steps became easier.
Little Mei, stop for a moment.
Lin Moyu spoke softly, but his voice was clear enough for little Mei to hear. Little Mei immediately stopped the breathing techniques and looked at Lin Moyu.
Teacher, did I practice incorrectly?
Lin Moyu shook his head.
No, you practiced correctly. You've mastered the breathing techniques well enough. We can cultivate something else now.
Little Mei's eyes lit up.
What will we practice?
Lin Moyu pointed with his finger, and the cloud-piercing sword appeared beside him. Then the cloud-piercing sword enlarged slightly, enough for a person to sit on. Lin Moyu gestured for little Mei to sit on the cloud-piercing sword.
What we're going to cultivate next requires your full attention, so you'll sit and cultivate.
Lin Moyu transmitted the cultivation method to little Mei. What he taught her was a relatively simple technique, just for building a foundation. This technique had ice attributes, very suitable for little Mei. Little Mei's path was different from ordinary cultivators. To return to her peak, she would eventually need to recover her past life's cultivation. At that time, she would naturally have the most suitable cultivation technique. So now there was no need to teach her 2 profound techniques. Just building a good foundation would make it smoother when she recovered her past life's cultivation. A body of dissolution and rebirth was truly rare. Lin Moyu was also very curious about what it would be like when little Mei recovered her past life memories and cultivation. Lin Moyu not only gave her the technique, but also provided silver tree sap for little Mei to consume daily. Little Mei quickly got started, beginning to ignore external matters and focus on cultivation. Lin Moyu continued walking, with the cloud-piercing sword carrying little Mei following beside him. This was the advantage of having a spirit in the sword. Lin Moyu didn't need to control it constantly. The spirit would follow instructions. Lin Moyu passed through Dragon subduing Buddha Nation and officially entered the Buddha realm. As soon as he entered the Buddha realm, Lin Moyu felt an unusual aura, completely different from what he felt in Dragon subduing Buddha Nation. Here, the Buddhist light was more brilliant, Plants and trees glowed with radiance under the Buddhist light. The sound of chanting scriptures was more ethereal and indistinct. It was impossible to tell what was being chanted. Occasionally, bell sounds could be heard, seemingly coming from an incredibly distant place. At this moment, the closest Buddha nation to Lin Moyu was called Wind-Settling Buddha Nation, belonging to Wind-Settling Ancient Buddha. Wind-Settling Ancient Buddha was a two-wheel ancient Buddha, not considered very strong among ancient Buddhas. However, he was a disciple of Five Elements Ancient Buddha, a powerful eight-wheel ancient Buddha, so generally no one dared to provoke Wind-Settling Ancient Buddha. Lin Moyu didn't plan to enter Wind-Settling Ancient Buddha's nation. He planned to go around the outside. Suddenly, dragon roars came from the sky. Several giant dragons flew overhead, then suddenly stopped and looked down towards Lin Moyu. 3,233 3,233. Chapter 32-33. You're too noisy. All of you come down. 6 dragons floated in the sky. 1 divine dragon and 5 sacred giant dragons. Strictly speaking, divine dragons belong to the true dragon race, while sacred giant dragons weren't considered true dragons yet. However, that was an internal distinction within the dragon race. In the eyes of outsiders, sacred giant dragons were also considered part of the dragon race. Of the 6 dragons, the divine dragon was the leader, with the 5 sacred giant dragons as his subordinates. The 6 dragons didn't hide their cultivation levels. Dragons rarely concealed their strength. They were used to being ostentatious. The divine dragon's cultivation was at the 3rd level Tao Venerable Realm, while the 5 sacred giant dragons were at the 2nd level Tao Venerable Realm. Although the difference in realm was small, their status within the dragon race was completely different. Even if these sacred giant dragons had higher cultivation, it wouldn't matter. They still had to listen to the divine dragon. The divine dragon looked at Lin Moyu, and a deafening voice rang out.
Why do you have our race's aura on you?
Lin Moyu frowned slightly.
Lower your voice. Don't disturb my disciple's cultivation.
As he spoke, he flicked out a stream of energy to envelop Little May, isolating her from the sound. Although Little May was already in meditation, if the noise was too loud, she would still be startled awake. The divine dragon completely ignored Lin Moyu's words, his voice still thunderous.
I'm asking you, why do you have our race's aura?
Lin Moyu's brow furrowed further.
Don't you understand human speech? I told you to lower your voice. Did you hear me?
The divine dragon roared angrily.
Answer my question. Why do you have our race's aura? And why has this girl been poisoned by the poison dragon?
Lin Moyu was somewhat surprised that the other party could tell Little May had been poisoned by the poison dragon. This was unexpected. The poison had been neutralized, yet they could still detect it. Evidently, the poison dragon's venom was special and could be sensed by other dragons. As for himself, having interacted with the dragon race multiple times, he naturally had the dragon race's aura on him. This aura would linger for a long time and was difficult to eliminate. Seeing that Lin Moyu still wasn't answering, the divine dragon clearly lost patience. Behind him, a sacred giant dragon suddenly let out a long roar, dragon cries echoing. Wind rose and mist rolled in the sky, obscuring the Buddhist light of the Buddha realm. As the wind blew the mist, a huge bronze mirror appeared in the air. The bronze mirror reflected heaven and earth, revealing Lin Moyu's figure. In the mirror, an illusion appeared beside Lin Moyu, solidifying into the form of the poison dragon.
The dragon race really has many secret techniques.
Lin Moyu understood the purpose of this technique. It could identify which dragon he had contacted based on the lingering dragon aura on him. The moment the poison dragon appeared, the divine dragon shouted angrily,
It's this fellow. You've actually had contact with him. Tell us where he is.
Lin Moyu sighed.
I said you're too noisy. All of you come down.
He suddenly threw a punch, and a giant fist shadow rushed into the sky, enveloping all 6 dragons. Terrifying power gathered in the fist. The 6 dragons' expressions changed simultaneously as they found themselves firmly locked in place, with nowhere to escape. The divine dragon roared.
How dare you!
His huge tail swung over, colliding with Lin Moyu's fist. Ah! The divine dragon screamed in pain as his massive tail was shattered by a single punch. The powerful dragon scales were useless at this moment, turning to powder under the fist. Not just him, but the other 5 sacred giant dragons fared no better. Lin Moyu's punch targeted all the dragons, not sparing a single one. After the punch, the 6 dragons crashed heavily to the ground, dragon blood staining the earth. Lin Moyu slowly walked up to the divine dragon.
Can we talk properly now?
The divine dragon now had a section of his tail broken off, and his body was covered in wounds. At least a third of his dragon scales were shattered, with dragon blood continuously flowing from his wounds, looking quite miserable. Seeing Lin Moyu, he instinctively wanted to shout, but when he saw Lin Moyu's slightly shaking fist, he ultimately couldn't make a sound. He said in a low voice,
You'll regret attacking us.
Lin Moyu shook his head.
Are all of you like this?
The divine dragon suddenly let out a long roar to the sky, and a strong light burst from his body. The strong light contained powerful energy, forcibly pushing Lin Moyu back. The light came and went quickly. When it disappeared, the 6 dragons before him had vanished.
They left quite fast.
Lin Moyu's eyes held disdain. The dragon race not only had many secret techniques, but also many magical treasures. Just now, he had activated a magical treasure that not only forced Lin Moyu back, but also rescued his companions. Lin Moyu didn't mind. Although the dragon race was strong, this was Buddhist territory. And even if a 9th level Dao Venerable Dragon came, there was no need to worry.
But why would the dragon race come to the Buddha realm? The dragon race and Buddhist clan don't have much interaction. Has something happened?
Lin Moyu didn't think too much about it. If something had really happened, he would know sooner or later. With a thought, the poison dragon appeared beside him. Lin Moyu asked,
After your poison is neutralized, does it still leave residual aura?
The poison dragon answered truthfully,
In response to Master, it does indeed leave residue.
Lin Moyu asked,
How can it be eliminated?
The poison dragon shook his head.
I don't know how to eliminate it either.
Lin Moyu frowned slightly. Even the poison dragon didn't know. He moved his soul power, gently falling on Little May's body. His soul was the most sensitive. Using soul power to sense the residual aura, he might be able to find it. Lin Moyu searched very carefully, inch by inch, inside and out, not missing anything. Finally, in Little May's blood and bone marrow, he found a clue. It was an extremely faint aura that ordinary people couldn't sense at all, and it was harmless to the body. But its existence couldn't escape the dragon race's perception. Now that he had found it, it was simple. With a gentle movement of soul power, he directly erased this aura. Then Lin Moyu searched back and forth several more times, making sure nothing was missed. Now, the dragon race would no longer be able to tell that Little May had been poisoned by dragon venom. As for himself, it was even simpler. Lin Moyu used the world-burning fire to purify himself from inside out. Then he changed into a new set of clothes, ensuring all auras were burned clean. Previously, Lin Moyu hadn't cared about the dragon aura, but now that he had encountered the dragon race, it was better to be safe than sorry. Thinking about how he still had to pass through dragon territory later, it seemed he would need to purify himself from time to time. Passing through the edge of wind-settling Buddha realm, walking through mountain ranges, there were many animals but not a single spirit beast. As for human habitation, there was none at all. In the Buddha realm, all beings with intelligence had entered the Buddha nations. If beings outside the Buddha nations gained spirituality through Buddhist light enlightenment, they would also go to the nearest Buddha nation. Only animals without spirituality lived in the wild. After walking for several days, Lin Moyu brought Little May to empty Ancient Buddha's nation. Yellow Eyebrow Ancient Buddha's nation was just beyond empty Buddha's nation. He now had 2 routes to choose from. One was to go around empty Buddha's nation, which would mean taking a longer route, adding 2 more days of travel. The second was to pass directly through empty Buddha's nation, which would save considerable time. Lin Moyu thought for a moment and decided to take the detour. He didn't want to cause unnecessary trouble. Little May was still cultivating on the cloud-piercing sword, and it wasn't convenient to walk through a Buddha nation with her. A shadow passed overhead, and Lin Moyu looked up to see several divine dragons flying by. Over the past few days, he had seen the dragon race several times. There were divine dragons and sacred giant dragons, sometimes in groups of dozens. So many dragons moving together meant something must have happened.
Looking at their direction, they seemed to be heading to the center of the Buddha realm. Could they be going to the Western paradise of ultimate bliss?
3234, 3234. Chapter 3234. Something has happened in the Western paradise of ultimate bliss. The Western paradise of ultimate bliss was the core of the Buddhist clan. What could the dragon race do in the Western paradise of ultimate bliss? Lin Moyu couldn't guess. But so many dragons entering the Buddha realm must mean something was happening. Circling around empty Buddha's nation for 2 more days, he again saw many dragons passing overhead. The dragons also didn't enter the Buddha nations, so their route overlapped with the one Lin Moyu had chosen. In less than 10 days, Lin Moyu had seen no fewer than 100 dragons. Besides these, there were surely others he hadn't seen. This meant that the number of dragons entering the Buddha realm could be several hundred, or even over 1,000. For the dragon race, this was already considered a major movement. Lin Moyu didn't think too much about it. The dragon's business was none of his concern. He glanced at little May, who was still cultivating. Her first meditation had lasted 10 days, undoubtedly demonstrating her extraordinary talent. Around little May, large amounts of origin power gathered from all directions. The Buddha realm was rich in origin power, making it an excellent place for little May to cultivate. Enveloped in origin power, little May wouldn't feel hungry. Her body's needs would all be met by the origin power. Lin Moyu felt that little May's cultivation had already developed a certain foundation. When this meditation ended, little May might be able to step into the gate of cultivation. By the standards of the small world, little May would be roughly above level 20. This cultivation speed was astonishing even in the great world. This was the advantage of an innate Tao soul. Among the people Lin Moyu had seen, only Little Moon could compare. Suddenly, Lin Moyu frowned. The chanting in his ears had become quieter. The constant chanting since entering the Buddha realm had suddenly softened. This change was unusual. He was getting closer to the center of the Buddha realm, so the chanting should have been gradually getting louder. But now it had suddenly become quieter, which was very abnormal. The chanting that spread throughout the entire Buddha realm came from the Buddhist core, the Western paradise of ultimate bliss. Now that the chanting had weakened, it meant something had happened in the Western paradise of ultimate bliss. And if something had happened in the Western paradise of ultimate bliss, it was likely related to the dragon race.
If something has happened in the Western paradise of ultimate bliss, then the Buddhist light should also change.
Just as Lin Moyu was thinking this, the Buddhist light suddenly changed. The Buddhist light, which had been like radiant clouds, suddenly became chaotic. The light flickered constantly, bright one moment and dim the next. When bright, it covered the sky and earth, blindingly intense, completely obscuring the light of the yin and yang origins. When dim, the yin and yang origins showed through. The Buddhist light should be stable and have a certain rhythm, working with the chanting to continuously spread power throughout the Buddha realm. Only in this way was it easy to enlighten beings and bewitch people's hearts. Once the Buddhist light became chaotic and lost synchronization with the chanting, its effect would be greatly reduced. Every Buddha had very high requirements for the devotion of their followers. The higher the realm, the higher the requirement for devotion. If devotion wasn't enough, no matter how many followers there were, it was useless. Now Lin Moyu could be 100% certain that something must have happened in the Western paradise of ultimate bliss, and it wasn't a small matter. The chanting changed again, suddenly shifting from gentle to intense. Buddha names echoed throughout the Buddha realm. The nearby empty Buddha's nation responded with a rumbling sound, and an enormous golden Buddha statue appeared. The golden Buddha statue sat on a lotus flower, flying towards the center of the Buddha realm.
Empty ancient Buddha is going to the Western paradise of ultimate bliss. The Buddha's words just now were summoning the ancient Buddhas. Interesting. It seems the Western paradise of ultimate bliss is quite lively now. In that case, Yellow Eyebrow Ancient Buddha should have gone too, which saves me some trouble.
Lin Moyu quickened his pace, heading towards Yellow Eyebrow Buddha's nation. Taking advantage of the incident in the Western paradise of ultimate bliss, he could move freely in Yellow Eyebrow Buddha's nation. Even if there were still ancient Buddhas inside, they wouldn't be as familiar with everything happening in the nation as Yellow Eyebrow Ancient Buddha. For Buddhas, Buddha nations were similar to Tao Venerables' rule worlds. Every cultivator knew everything happening in their own rule world intimately. Him entering a Buddha nation was equivalent to entering someone else's rule world. If the other party wasn't strong enough, Lin Moyu could use some methods to conceal himself, just like in Dragon subduing Buddha's nation where he could come and go as he pleased. He was confident he could deceive an ancient heavenly Buddha, but not an ancient Buddha. So now was the best opportunity. A day later, Lin Moyu finally arrived outside Yellow Eyebrow Buddha's nation. At this time, the Buddhist light and chanting in the Buddha realm were still in a chaotic state, meaning the situation in the Western paradise of ultimate bliss hadn't been resolved. Little May was still cultivating. Lin Moyu opened his rule world and brought Little May into it, placing a large number of origin crystals around her for her cultivation needs. Then the space around him distorted, and Lin Moyu stepped into Yellow Eyebrow Buddha's nation from another dimension. After entering the Buddha nation, he immediately summoned the poison dragon.
We've reached Yellow Eyebrow Buddha's nation. Where did that treasure you last saw fall?
The poison dragon looked around.
Master, the place I entered before is different from here.
Lin Moyu frowned.
Which direction did you enter from? Are there any distinguishing features?
The poison dragon said.
The place I entered had a mountain range with 9 almost identical peaks. On top of each peak was a Buddha hall, seemingly for Yellow Eyebrow Ancient Buddha's disciples.
Lin Moyu nodded and summoned the brocade robe shaman. To avoid attracting attention while scouting here, he couldn't use the bone general. The brocade robe shaman was the best choice. Lin Moyu and the brocade robe shaman split up. The shaman activated its night travel ability and flew towards the distance. Lin Moyu used the space Great Tao to conceal his aura and flew in another direction. Both moved along the edge of the Buddha nation. In less than an hour, the brocade robe shaman found the mountain range the poison dragon had mentioned. Lin Moyu hurried over and saw the mountain range from afar. 9 peaks were arranged in a triangle formation. On top of each peak was a Buddha hall, looking exquisite and majestic. At the foot of each peak was a sizable Buddha city. From each city, a mountain path led directly to the Buddha hall at the summit. On the mountain paths, many people were kowtowing as they made their way to the top. Even from 100 li away, Lin Moyu could hear the chanting. The chanting here was different from outside the Buddha nation. In Yellow Eyebrow Buddha's nation, all were followers of Yellow Eyebrow Ancient Buddha, and the scriptures here contained Yellow Eyebrow Ancient Buddha's name. Yellow Eyebrow Ancient Buddha would take all the devotional power and incense, then distribute the excess to his disciples. These 9 Buddha halls housed Yellow Eyebrow Ancient Buddha's 9 disciples. Lin Moyu activated his undead eye and scanned, seeing a powerful soul flame in each of the 9 Buddha halls.
Yellow Eyebrow Ancient Buddha is a 4-wheel ancient Buddha with 36 disciples, all ancient Buddhas. These should be 9 of the 36 disciples. The 9 peaks, along with the Buddha cities below and the arrangement of the mountain range, form a formation. The formation's power is decent, barely reaching the 6th grade. It seems there are Buddhas in the Buddhist clan who are proficient in formations.
Lin Moyu called out the poison dragon again for identification. This time, he clearly saw the direction. Without another word, Lin Moyu immediately flew towards the area the poison dragon indicated. He hid in another dimension, concealing his aura. No one discovered him. After flying for 1,000 li, Lin Moyu suddenly sensed a peculiar aura.
The aura of a reincarnation treasure.
3235 3235. Chapter 3235. A trip to the western paradise of ultimate bliss. Little May's reincarnation treasure had fallen into Yellow Eyebrow Buddha's nation 10 years ago. In 10 years, the aura wouldn't completely disappear, and Lin Moyu could still sense it. This aura had a special compatibility with Little May's soul, allowing Lin Moyu to be 100% certain it was Little May's reincarnation treasure. Though the aura remained, the object itself was gone. Lin Moyu traced the aura's trail until it abruptly vanished.
It's gone. Even if someone took it, the aura shouldn't have disappeared completely. This kind of reincarnation treasure can't necessarily be stored in ordinary storage treasures. Even some special storage treasures might not be able to conceal its aura.
Reincarnation treasures were special, not ordinary magical items. Even if stored in a storage treasure, it would be difficult to completely mask their aura. Lin Moyu found the last location where the reincarnation treasure had appeared, a valley in the mountain range. The valley had collapsed. Lin Moyu discovered the collapse was unnatural, with obvious signs of human intervention. Seeing this, Lin Moyu had a guess.
It seems the reincarnation treasure was taken away, most likely by Yellow Eyebrow Ancient Buddha.
Muttering to himself, Lin Moyu drew several runes, forming a simple rune formation. The formation had no other purpose than to conceal his aura. He didn't want anyone to know what he was about to do. If Yellow Eyebrow Ancient Buddha was still in the Buddha nation, this would naturally be useless. But with the nation's master absent, he didn't need to worry too much. The formation covered the entire collapsed valley. Then his body became half real and half illusory as the Time Great Tao silently emerged.
Time reversal.
Lin Moyu used the Time Great Tao to directly reverse time. He wanted to see what had happened here 10 years ago. The Time Great Tao cast down an illusory shadow, and time began to flow backwards within it. Everything that had happened in the valley played out rapidly like a movie in reverse. Though he had his guesses, they were still just guesses. He needed final confirmation. With Lin Moyu's current realm and cultivation, reversing time by 10 years on the origin continent was no longer a problem. Soon, time returned to 10 years ago. A streak of light fell from the sky, crashing into the valley. The light didn't cause much disturbance. It silently created an inconspicuous hole in the valley. Even the small animals in the valley didn't notice they had a new neighbor. But soon someone came. A Buddha with a muscular build, wearing a golden Kasaya robe, descended from the sky. Lin Moyu recognized at a glance that this Buddha was Yellow Eyebrow Ancient Buddha. After entering Yellow Eyebrow Buddha's nation, one could see the Buddha's illusory image in the distant sky, Yellow Eyebrow's projection, identical to the one in the time reversal. As the nation's ruler, as long as he was in the Buddha nation, it would be difficult for anything happening there to escape his notice. It was normal for him to discover Little May's reincarnation treasure. When Yellow Eyebrow arrived, countless rays of Buddhist light descended, containing boundless thunder. The valley collapsed with a boom. Almost none of the animals in the valley survived. Yellow Eyebrow chanted scriptures, as if giving these small animals last rites. His face showed none of a Buddha's benevolence. Instead, he looked somewhat fierce, even excited. After demolishing the valley, Yellow Eyebrow quickly found Little May's reincarnation treasure in the ruins. Yellow Eyebrow held the reincarnation treasure in his palm, allowing Lin Moyu to clearly see its appearance. The reincarnation treasure looked like a pearl, emitting a faint blue light and exuding an intense cold aura. After examining it for a while, Yellow Eyebrow took out a cloth bag and put the reincarnation treasure inside. Lin Moyu frowned slightly at this.
This cloth bag is unusual. It's probably not just a simple storage treasure, but likely has other uses. If I face Yellow Eyebrow, I'll need to be careful of this cloth bag.
After storing the reincarnation treasure in the cloth bag, Yellow Eyebrow left directly. Lin Moyu also withdrew the time reversal. Now he could be certain that Yellow Eyebrow Ancient Buddha had taken Little May's reincarnation treasure. And now Yellow Eyebrow Ancient Buddha wasn't in his Buddha nation. He had likely gone to the Western paradise of ultimate bliss. Not only had Yellow Eyebrow Ancient Buddha gone to the Western paradise of ultimate bliss, but Green Lamp Ancient Buddha, whom Lin Moyu was looking for, was probably there too. Green Lamp Ancient Buddha was a 9-wheel ancient Buddha. When not in his own Buddha nation, he would be in the Western paradise of ultimate bliss. Now that something had happened in the Western paradise of ultimate bliss, Green Lamp Ancient Buddha had very likely gone there.
It seems I'll need to make a trip to the Western paradise of ultimate bliss too. But before that, I should check Yellow Eyebrow's lair. Just in case he left the reincarnation treasure behind that would save some trouble.
Muttering to himself, Lin Moyu headed towards the center of the Buddha nation. In the center of Yellow Eyebrow Buddha's nation stood a golden Buddha statue several thousand meters tall. On the statue's large hand rested a Buddha hall Yellow Eyebrow's lair. Lin Moyu quickly arrived in front of the Buddha hall. On the square before it, several hundred Buddhists sat cross-legged, chanting scriptures. These Buddhists were all disciples of Yellow Eyebrow Ancient Buddha. Their cultivation levels varied. The strongest were already ancient heavenly Buddhas, while the weakest were children who had just begun cultivating. However, they all shared one common trait: good destiny and excellent talent. This showed that Yellow Eyebrow had a good eye for selecting disciples. Lin Moyu silently descended onto the square. No one noticed his arrival. Standing at the entrance to the Buddha hall, Lin Moyu examined it. Countless rays of Buddhist light emanated from the hall. Within the light, Lin Moyu sensed the aura of a formation. The formation in the Buddha hall had the same origin as the formation of the 9 mountain peaks he had seen earlier. Lin Moyu recognized at a glance that the formation was actually controlled by the Buddha hall. One could imagine Yellow Eyebrow Ancient Buddha presiding in the hall, with his 36 disciples divided into groups of 9, stationed at the 4 corners of the Buddha nation. They each formed their own formations with the Buddha hall at the center. The massive formation could cover the entire Buddha nation.
It seems this Yellow Eyebrow Ancient Buddha does indeed have some knowledge of formations. Though the formation isn't strong, its range is quite large.
This formation was about 5th grade peak to 6th grade level. Naturally, it wasn't worth mentioning in Lin Moyu's eyes, but for others, it was already an impressive feat. At least, in the entire beast race, one couldn't find anyone capable of arranging such a formation. Lin Moyu ignored the formation and strode into the Buddha hall, casually drawing a few runes to form a formation covering himself. At this moment, Lin Moyu merged with the formation in the Buddha hall. The hall became his backyard. He could go wherever he pleased. Lin Moyu again sensed the aura of the reincarnation treasure in the Buddha hall, and the aura was very strong. One could imagine that Yellow Eyebrow Ancient Buddha had studied Little May's reincarnation treasure, and for quite some time. Lin Moyu even found the exact location where Yellow Eyebrow had researched the reincarnation treasure. Lin Moyu performed another time reversal. This time, the range was very small and the disturbance minimal. The people outside the hall didn't notice. In the time reversal, Lin Moyu confirmed that when Yellow Eyebrow left, he took the reincarnation treasure with him, stored in that cloth bag.
It seems I have no choice but to make a trip to the Western paradise of ultimate bliss. Perfect timing to watch the show, and also find Green Lamp Ancient Buddha.
3236 3236 Chapter 3236 The Lufin Chamber of Commerce is everywhere. Lin Moyu left Yellow Eyebrow's Buddha hall, silently erasing all traces he had left behind, including time imprints. Even if someone used time reversal, they wouldn't be able to know he had been here. Lin Moyu was very careful. After all, he was now in Buddhist territory. He couldn't afford to be careless. He had a feeling that he didn't get along well with the Buddhist clan. Since entering the great world, he had already been at odds with them, and he instinctively disliked the Buddhist clan. This feeling was strange and hard to explain. After leaving the Buddha hall, Lin Moyu passed through Yellow Eyebrow's Buddha nation, heading towards the Western paradise of ultimate bliss. He had come silently and left the same way. No one knew he had been here. Outside the Buddha nation, the Buddhist light was still chaotic. alternating between bright and dim without any pattern. This meant the situation in the Western paradise of ultimate bliss hadn't been resolved. The dragon race and Buddhist clan had always kept to themselves, maintaining this state for countless years. It was unknown what had happened this time. Now that all the great Buddhas had gone to the Western paradise of ultimate bliss, for Lin Moyu all the Buddha nations were wide open. He no longer took detours, passing through 2 Buddha nations by the shortest route, approaching the Western paradise of ultimate bliss. From afar he saw an enormous Buddha statue. This Buddha statue was the largest Lin Moyu had ever seen in his life. Even the 9-tailed city that stretched for 500,000 kilometers couldn't compare. The height of this Buddha statue was unknown. Its upper body reached into the clouds, hidden in the mist. Its lower body connected with the earth, spanning dozens of mountain ranges. Its exact size was incalculable, but it was at least 1,000,000 li. However, this Buddha statue that reached the sky and connected with mountains and earth was just the base. When Lin Moyu flew into the clouds, he truly saw what the Western paradise of ultimate bliss was. In the Buddhist clan, the Western paradise of ultimate bliss was also called the world of ultimate bliss, or the pure land of ultimate bliss, and was also known as the most virtuous place. Regardless of what it was called, it conveyed respect and longing for the Western paradise of ultimate bliss. The entire Buddha statue had grown numerous arms. These arms, seeming both real and illusory, transformed into a 1,000-armed Buddha, supporting a huge continent. This continent was the Western paradise of ultimate bliss. It had a diameter of over 1,000,000 li and wasn't an ordinary continent, but one that had been refined, exuding an aura similar to a magical treasure. Lin Moyu sensed extremely rich origin power, knowing that the Western paradise of ultimate bliss must have several origin spirit veins, and of no low grade. In the sky above the Western paradise of ultimate bliss, 2 great suns were positioned at opposite ends. They revolved around the Western paradise of ultimate bliss at the same speed, always maintaining the farthest distance from each other. These 2 great suns, one reflecting Buddhist light and the other chanting scriptures, illuminated not just the Western paradise of ultimate bliss, but the entire Buddha realm.
The Buddhist clan's ambition is truly great.
Just by looking at these 2 great suns, Lin Moyu could guess that the Buddha nation had extremely great ambitions. These 2 great suns actually represented the yin and yang origins. The Buddhist clan intended to use these 2 great suns in their own world to replace the yin and yang origins. Many ordinary people born in the Buddhist clan had lived their entire lives without seeing the yin and yang origins. But now, the 2 blazing suns had clearly been damaged. Their shapes were no longer regular, with many gaps appearing. This was also the reason for the chaotic Buddhist light and weakened chanting. It wasn't hard to imagine that this must have been done by the dragon race. Lin Moyu muttered to himself,
The ambition is great, but ambition needs to be supported by strength. Where does the Buddhist clan get the courage to provoke the dragon race?
Lin Moyu didn't understand. Given the dragon race's strength, even the 3 beast emperors wouldn't want to provoke them. The dragon race had people in the great Tao beyond the sky. If they were angered, given the dragon race's protective nature, someone from the great Tao beyond the sky might come. Although there were rules on the origin continent, and the great Tao didn't allow great Tao realm beings to enter the origin continent. But Lin Moyu believed the dragon race definitely had ways. If just one great Tao realm dragon came and exerted even 1 or 2/10 of their power, it would be enough to crush the entire Buddhist clan. Logically, the Buddhist clan should understand this point. Unless they also had people in the great Tao beyond the sky and weren't afraid of the dragon race. But the Buddhist clan's inheritance only appeared after the prehistoric Great War. Since then, becoming a great Tao realm being has been very difficult. According to the information Lin Moyu had, there should be no one in the Buddhist clan who had become a great Tao realm being. Not just the Buddhist clan, even among humans, no one had become a great Tao realm being. Lin Moyu silently approached, getting closer and closer to the Western paradise of ultimate bliss. When he was still 10,000 li away, Lin Moyu saw a warship.
The Lufeng Chamber of Commerce's warship.
Lin Moyu chuckled. It seemed he wasn't the only one who liked to watch the excitement. The Lufin Chamber of Commerce had also come, and so openly. It was understandable. With the Lufin Chamber of Commerce's abilities, how could such a big event escape their notice? And such good news could be sold later, so they naturally would come. Several people stood on the warship. When Lin Moyu saw them, they also noticed Lin Moyu. One of them suddenly flew over. Before the person arrived, their voice had already reached Lin Moyu.
It's been many days, Mr. Lin. Your cultivation has advanced again. Congratulations.
Lin Moyu also revealed a smile.
Congratulations to Senior Lu on entering the 8th level Dao Venerable Realm.
It was an old acquaintance, Lu Fengrao's father, Lu Shudao. Lu Shudao laughed heartily.
That's all thanks to Mr. Lin's blessing. Otherwise, I would have perished long ago.
Lin Moyu was also very polite.
Being able to find a glimmer of hope in a desperate situation was because Senior Lu is unparalleled in righteousness. Otherwise, you wouldn't have lasted until this junior arrived. So Senior Lu actually saved himself. This junior doesn't dare take all the credit.
Lu Shudao was originally at the 7th level Dao Venerable Realm. He was severely injured in the Star Wind Secret Realm and gave his only Great Dao Longevity Pill to Cold 9-Star Lord. This allowed Cold 9-Star Lord to recover a bit of vitality, barely holding back the divine pet with soul power, finally allowing a group of Dao Venerables to survive until Lin Moyu arrived. If he had been a bit selfish at that time and used the pill himself, those Dao Venerables wouldn't have lasted long. Later, after Lin Moyu's treatment, his injuries were fully healed. Having survived a great calamity after returning, he made a breakthrough, quickly advancing from 7th level to 8th level Dao Venerable. After exchanging a few pleasantries, they returned to the warship together. On the warship, there were 6 other Dao Venerables from the Lufin Chamber of Commerce. Unlike Lu Shudao, they were permanently stationed in the Western continent and weren't familiar with Lin Moyu. All 6 were 6th level Dao Venerables, not weak in strength, and were respectively responsible for the Chamber of Commerce's business in the Buddhist and Dragon territories of the Western continent. Lin Moyu asked,
Senior Lu, can you tell me what happened here?
Lu Shudao naturally wouldn't conceal anything from Lin Moyu.
Of course. Mr. Lin should know that within the Buddhist clan, there's a force called the congregations.
Lin Moyu nodded.
I know.
Within the Buddhist clan, there were several congregations. They were composed of different races. For example, the Beast congregation was composed of Buddhist members who originally belonged to the Beast race. Besides this, there were also the Wood congregation, Animal congregation, and Human congregation. The Wood congregation was composed of plant cultivators, while the Animal congregation was composed of spirit beasts. Among the congregations, the most numerous was naturally the Human congregation, which was also the most complex. Lu Shudao chuckled.
This time, the Buddhist clan wants to establish a dragon congregation.
3237 3237. Chapter 3237. The 3 Lives Technique, Past, Present, Future. Hearing the words,
Dragon congregation.
Lin Moyu was stunned for a moment and instinctively said,
The Buddhist clan can't be that reckless, can they?
His use of the word,
reckless,
made the Dao Venerables laugh. Lu Shudao also laughed and said,
Why does Mr. Lin say that?
Lin Moyu said,
I can roughly guess what the Buddhist clan wants to do. Back then, they took advantage of the 100 Herbs Alliance and gained a large number of plant members, forming the Wood congregation and strengthening the Buddhist clan to some extent. But that's a different matter. The plant members were originally enlightened by the Buddhist clan, so from the moment they gained intelligence, they were loyal to the Buddhist clan. It's not that the 100 Herbs Alliance couldn't kill them, they just felt it was useless. As long as the Buddhist clan existed, plants would continue to be enlightened, endlessly. The dragon race is completely different. They don't need enlightenment from the Buddhist clan. If the Buddhist clan wants to form a dragon congregation, they must poach members from the dragon race. To put it nicely, it's poaching. To put it bluntly, it's forced conversion. Given the dragon race's temperament, they naturally won't agree.
Lu Shudao laughed heartily.
Mr. Lin is correct. That's about the situation.
Lin Moyu said.
Given the dragon race's strength on the origin continent, they're not inferior to the Buddhist clan. Add to that the dragon race's background, and it seems the Buddhist clan is being reckless. Unless they have some confidence.
Lin Moyu looked at Lu Shudao. If the dragon race had any confidence, Lu Shudao would surely know something. And he was certain that the Buddhist clan weren't fools. They wouldn't do something so unwise. Lu Shudao smiled and said,
The Buddhist clan indeed has some confidence. Has Mr. Lin heard of the 3 lives Buddha in the Buddhist clan?
Lin Moyu shook his head.
I've never heard of it.
Everything he knew came from the information purchased from the Lufan Chamber of Commerce. If it wasn't in the information, he naturally hadn't heard of it. He hadn't been in the Western continent for long, and even on the origin continent it had only been this short time. How could he compare to the Lufan Chamber of Commerce? There were many things he didn't know. Lu Shudao explained.
About 100,000 years ago, a Buddhist cultivation genius appeared in the Buddhist clan. He used only 5,000 years to cultivate to ancient Buddha. Then he used another 50,000 years to reach 9-wheel ancient Buddha. He didn't establish a Buddha nation, didn't rely on incense and devotional power, but instead cultivated the most difficult secret technique in the Buddhist clan, the 3 lives technique. The so-called 3 lives technique is to split into 3 and cultivate together.
Lin Moyu asked.
Splitting into 3, how is this different from creating avatars?
Lu Shudao continued to explain.
On the surface, it doesn't seem much different from avatars, but in reality, it's completely different. The 3 lives technique is called the most difficult secret technique by the Buddhist clan, and also the strongest. The 3 lives technique will split the soul into 3, and the 2 split-off souls are independent, like 3 newborns. But they are of the same origin, and the 3 souls can merge back into 1 when needed. After that genius split his soul into 3, he cultivated back to the 9th level Tao Venerable Realm, then the 3 souls worked together, actually allowing him to successfully break through.
Lin Moyu frowned.
He should have become a pseudo-great Tao realm, right?
Lu Shudao laughed heartily.
Mr. Lin even knows about the pseudo-great Tao realm. Shudao truly admires you. That's right, he broke through to the pseudo-great Tao realm.
Lin Moyu somewhat understood.
So the Buddhist clan gained confidence and dared to set their sights on the dragon race. Don't they know the dragon race has people above?
Lu Shudao smiled.
Who knows?
Lin Moyu pondered for a moment and roughly understood the Buddhist clan's thinking. The Buddhist clan surely knows the dragon race has people above, but so what? Great Tao realm beings can hardly descend. Even if they descend, they can only exert 30% of their power at most. With a pseudo-great Tao realm being, they're not afraid of a great Tao realm being who can only use 30% of their power. They think the dragon race certainly can't do anything to them. So they want to establish a dragon congregation and poach some people from the dragon race. And their goal isn't just as simple as the dragon congregation. They might also want the dragon race's techniques. The dragon race has many secret techniques, many of which are very powerful. The Buddhist clan has probably coveted them for years. Having basically understood the root of this matter, Lin Moyu asked,
What's the name of that pseudo-great Tao realm Buddha?
Lu Shudao smiled.
His main body is called Tathagata Buddha, also known as the present Buddha. The other 2 are Green Lamp Ancient Buddha, known as the past Buddha, and Maitreya Buddha, known as the future Buddha. When separated, all 3 Buddhas are at the 9th level Tao Venerable Realm. When merged, they become a pseudo-great Tao realm being, known as the 3 lives Buddha Patriarch.
Lin Moyu was slightly surprised inwardly and muttered to himself,
Past, present, future Buddha.
These 3 Buddha patriarchs existed in the Great World too. Thinking about it now, the 3 Buddhas in the Great World probably just borrowed the names and actually had little relation. At that time, the Buddhist inheritance was transmitted to the Great World intermittently and incompletely. Perhaps the titles of the 3 Buddhas were in those inheritances. In other words, the future, present, and past Buddhas in the Great World were just empty names. These three now were the real great Buddhas. While pondering, Lin Moyu started to get a headache. Green Lamp Ancient Buddha was actually one of the three Buddhas. He definitely couldn't forcibly take it now, he could only exchange. Now he could only hope that what the three ancestors gave him would be useful. Lin Moyu asked,
What happened after the dragon race came knocking?
Lu Shudao smiled.
What else could happen? They fought, of course. The dragon race rarely reasons, they started fighting right away.
Lin Moyu said,
The dragon race should have suffered losses, right?
Lu Shudao nodded.
This is the Buddhist clan's Western paradise of ultimate bliss. Naturally, the dragon race would suffer losses. But the dragon race isn't afraid either.
Lu Shudao briefly explained the current situation in the Western paradise of ultimate bliss. The Buddhist clan had converted a batch of dragons. There were 10 divine dragons alone, 2 of which were at the 7th level Tao Venerable Realm. There were hundreds of sacred giant dragons, and even more ordinary dragons. After the dragon race attacked, the Buddhist clan had confidence and didn't back down at all. They fought many battles in the Western paradise of ultimate bliss. As a result, the dragon race didn't gain any advantage, and even suffered some losses. However, the dragon race's true powerhouses haven't arrived yet, and the Buddhist clan's strongest 3 lives Buddha also hasn't made a move. The dragon race has now summoned their clan's powerhouses. Once they arrive, the fighting will continue, and once it starts, it might not stop. Given the dragon race's temperament, as long as the Buddhist clan doesn't give up on the idea of a dragon congregation, the dragon race won't stop. Lin Moyu listened to Shudao's words while pondering. The more he thought about it, the more he felt something was off. Even though the dragon race had confidence, they shouldn't act this way. Although the dragon race's secret techniques are good, many can only be used by the dragon race themselves. For the Buddhist clan to use them, they would need extensive modifications. This doesn't align with the Buddhist clan's interests.
The Buddhist clan clearly won't give up, so to deal with them, the dragon race will have to mobilize their entire clan and use full force. Then the dragon race's rear will be empty. If the insect race makes a move at this time, or if the insect race and Buddhist clan join forces, the dragon race will be in big trouble.
Thinking of this, Lin Moyu immediately asked,
Senior Lu, I remember the Chamber of Commerce also has personnel in the insect race, right?
3238 3238. Chapter 3238. My trustworthiness is unmatched below the Great Tao. Although the insect race is very closed off, the Lufan Chamber of Commerce still has outposts within their territory. After all, the insect race still needs some resources, and the Lufan Chamber of Commerce is their best choice. Lu Shudao asked with confusion.
Indeed we do. Does Mr. Lin want to go to the insect race?
Lin Moyu shook his head.
Can you ask if the insect race has had any recent movements?
Lu Shudao was suddenly startled.
Mr. Lin means to say, the insect race might take advantage of the dragon race's vulnerability to attack their homeland?
Lin Moyu said.
That's one possibility. Another possibility is that the insect race may have already allied with the Buddhist clan, preparing to deal with the dragon race together.
Lu Shudao thought for a moment and realized this was very possible. He immediately said,
I'll contact our people there right away to inquire about the situation.
Lu Shudao quickly sent out a message, needing some time to get a response. As he thought, he said,
If that's really the case, the dragon race will be in big trouble.
Lin Moyu said,
If so, the Buddhist clan would achieve multiple goals at once. Not only could they successfully establish a dragon congregation and obtain many secret techniques and treasures from the dragon race, but they could also divide up the dragon race's territory with the insect race. In the worst case, only the Buddhist clan's dragon congregation would remain on the origin continent, with no more independent dragon race. Even if the dragons above found out, they wouldn't be able to do anything for now.
Lu Shudao felt Lin Moyu's words made a lot of sense. Lin Moyu actually had more to say. Once the Buddhist clan succeeds, they would gain a lot of destiny. The Buddhist clan's destiny was already not weak. If they added the dragon race's destiny, perhaps that Three Lives Buddha Patriarch could use this to impact the true Great Tao realm. If he really succeeded, then the Buddhist clan would have someone above too. As for what the Great Tao world beyond the sky was like, Lin Moyu didn't know and couldn't judge. Thinking further, Lin Moyu felt that if the Buddhist clan really did this, their ultimate goal would be for the Three Lives Buddha Patriarch to impact the Great Tao realm.
If that's the case, it probably won't be easy for me to get Little May's reincarnation treasure back from Yellow Eyebrow Ancient Buddha. I may have to fight a good battle. The hell fragment I want is also in Green Lamp Ancient Buddha's hands. He's one of the Three Lives Buddha Patriarch's 3 lives, combining into a pseudo-Great Tao realm being. If what the 3 ancestors gave me can't be exchanged for the hell fragment, I may have to fight too.
Lin Moyu thought a lot and felt his matters might be troublesome. Compared to Little May's reincarnation treasure, the hell fragment might be easier to obtain. After all, the hell fragment couldn't be carried around, and whether to give it or not wasn't up to Green Lamp Ancient Buddha alone. Lin Moyu asked,
Senior Lu, do you know if Yellow Eyebrow Ancient Buddha has a cloth bag?
Lu Shudao thought for a moment, shook his head slightly, and looked at the Dao Venerables behind him.
Do you know?
A Dao Venerable immediately responded.
The bag in Yellow Eyebrow's hand is called the Buddha Seed Bag. It's an extremely powerful magical treasure, probably above the 7th level Dao Venerable realm. It's said to have been passed down by Yellow Eyebrow's teacher. It can absorb all things. Once absorbed, they'll be influenced by the Buddha Seed Bag and develop Buddha nature. Given enough time, they'll be converted.
Lin Moyu nodded.
Thank you for informing me.
At this time, Lu Shudao received a reply from the Chamber of Commerce personnel. His expression changed slightly.
Mr. Lin, you were right. The insect race has indeed been active recently. Their strongest insect queens have all mobilized, but it's unclear where they've gone.
Lin Moyu said,
The insect race should be working with the Buddhist clan to trap and destroy the dragon race here.
Lin Moyu felt the insect race wouldn't take advantage of the dragon race's vulnerability to attack their clan territory, because there was no benefit in that. Even if they conquered it, so what? As long as the dragon race's fighting force remained, they couldn't hold onto it. The best method was to eliminate the dragon race's fighting force. The Buddhist clan used establishing a dragon congregation as an excuse to actively provoke conflict with the dragon race, attracting most of their forces. Then, cooperating with the insect race, they would ultimately destroy them in the Western paradise of ultimate bliss. As long as their plan succeeded, the dragon race's power would be greatly weakened. Then the two races would join forces to attack the dragon race, dividing up their territory and seizing their destiny. Lu Shudao had no reaction to this idea of the Buddhist clans. In his view, the life or death of the dragon race didn't actually have much impact on the Lufin Chamber of Commerce. After all, the dragon race's business accounted for a very small proportion in the Lufin Chamber of Commerce. He was just here to watch the excitement, with no intention of getting involved. Lu Shudao thought Lin Moyu was also here to watch and asked with a smile,
What made Mr. Lin think of coming to the Western continent?
Lin Moyu said,
I originally planned to come find Green Lamp Ancient Buddha.
Suddenly, Lin Moyu's expression changed as he thought of something. He changed the subject.
Senior Lu, can you contact the 3 ancestors from here?
Lu Shudao nodded.
Yes.
Lin Moyu said,
I'd like to speak privately with the 3 ancestors for a moment.
Lu Shudao had no questions and directly led Lin Moyu into the warship. In a room inside the warship, he activated a formation, then withdrew himself. The formation operated, and after a while, the 3 ancestors' voice came through.
Shudao, what matter do you have for this ancestor?
Lin Moyu said,
3 ancestors, it's me.
The 3 ancestors' tone changed, losing the previous majesty.
Oh, it's you, kid. What's the matter?
Lin Moyu quickly explained what was happening here, then asked,
3 ancestors, what do you think?
The 3 ancestors said,
I'm a merchant. I don't act without profit.
The implication was that he wouldn't do anything without any benefit. The Buddhist clan and dragon race fighting to the death was their own business, unrelated to him as a merchant. No matter who won, he was only responsible for making money and doing business. Lin Moyu of course understood what kind of person the three ancestors was.
I have a business proposition here. I wonder if the three ancestors are interested?
The three ancestors said,
For me, there's only unsuitable prices, no business that can't be done.
Lin Moyu said,
2 things. First, relay the situation I just described truthfully to the new emperor of the Eastern Spirit Empire. Second, personally go to the dragon race. Not to deal with the insect race and Buddhist clan, but to keep an eye on the Netherworld race and the 100 Herbs Alliance. If these two races try to make a move against the dragon race, please help block them. Whatever method you use to block them is fine, just don't let them invade the dragon race.
After Lin Moyu finished speaking, the three ancestors fell silent. He had said there was no business that couldn't be done, only unsuitable prices. Lin Moyu had already stated his requirements. Now it was up to the three ancestors to name his price. After a moment, the three ancestors said in a low voice,
1 ice fire Dao stone.
Lin Moyu agreed without hesitation.
Deal.
The three ancestors exclaimed in surprise.
You're not going to haggle?
Lin Moyu said,
I think this price is very reasonable. No need to haggle.
The three ancestors immediately cried out in frustration.
It seems I quoted too low a price.
Lin Moyu smiled.
Actually, it's not low. Just to pass on a message and make a trip, this price is quite high. After all, the Netherworld race and 100 Herbs Alliance may not necessarily act. And even if they do act, you only need to step in to block them, not necessarily fight. So this price isn't low at all. You won't go back on your word, will you?
The three ancestors snorted.
My trustworthiness is unmatched below the Great Tao. Once I agree to a deal, I'll do it even at a loss.
3239, 3239. Chapter 3239. Because I saw them. The Buddhist clan and insect race are working together to scheme against the dragon race, wanting to erase the dragon race from the origin continent in one fell swoop. Their confidence comes from the Three Lives Buddha Patriarch who has entered the pseudo-Great Tao realm, and this is also the reason. However, if they want to completely erase the dragon race without any survivors, the Buddhist clan and insect race alone may not be enough. Perhaps the 100 Herbs Alliance on the other side of the dragon race will also join in, along with the hidden Netherworld race. The Netherworld race keeps to themselves, not showing their strength, but Lin Moyu believes their power must not be weak. How could a race evolved from hell fragments and the Netherworld Black Pool be weak? Thinking deeper, what's the best way for the Buddhist clan to get the Netherworld race to act? Naturally, it's the hell fragment in Green Lamp Ancient Buddha's hands. Lin Moyu hadn't thought this far before, but later suddenly realized. The Three Lives Buddha Patriarch is already at the pseudo-Great Tao realm, so he's completely capable of suppressing the hell fragment and using it as a bargaining chip to give to the Netherworld race in exchange for their help against the dragon race. As for the 100 Herbs Alliance, Lin Moyu believes the Buddhist clan can also offer an appropriate price. It's to guard against these 2 points that he asked the three ancestors to go block them. If his guess is correct, it can relieve quite a bit of pressure for the dragon race. If he guessed wrong, it's no big deal and won't affect the overall situation. As for Antares' side, based on Lin Moyu's understanding of the dragon race and Antares hates the dragon race and has inexplicable emotions towards them, even threatening to kill his way to the dragon race. But he's still a member of the dragon race, and has never said he's unrelated to them. The dragon race's protective nature is instinctive, so Lin Moyu wants to let Antares know about this matter. As for how Antares ultimately chooses, that's his business, and Lin Moyu won't interfere. However, before that, Lin Moyu also has his own matters to attend to. Dragon roars echo across the sky as another great battle erupts in the western paradise of ultimate bliss. Huge dragons fly through the air in the paradise world. Divine dragons lead sacred giant dragons, unleashing boundless techniques, thunder and flames covering most of the Western paradise. Amidst Buddhist chants, golden light bursts from the ground. Countless Buddhist scripts appear on the land of the Western paradise, forming arrays to firmly resist the dragon race's attacks. Golden Buddha statues appear between heaven and earth, various Buddhist methods surging forth, fighting merrily with the dragon race. Similar great battles have erupted many times recently, with periods of fighting and stopping. Sometimes, after several battles, they would stop to negotiate once. Of course, the result was almost always failure to reach an agreement, and then they would continue fighting. The dragon race's demand is simple: for the Buddhist clan to give up establishing a dragon congregation and return all the forcibly converted dragon race members. The Buddhist clan's attitude is somewhat strange. They neither agree nor refuse. Lu Shudao asked in a low voice,
Mr. Lin, I know I shouldn't ask some things, but I still want to ask, what is the three ancestors' attitude?
The three ancestors' attitude determines what the Lufan Chamber of Commerce will do next. If the three ancestors want to get involved, Lu Shudao can also make some preparations. The Lufan Chamber of Commerce is not afraid of the Buddhist clan, let alone just the Buddhist clan. Even if the Buddhist clan and insect race join forces, the Lufan Chamber of Commerce still wouldn't be afraid. Lin Moyu said,
The three ancestors don't have a clear attitude. You shouldn't get involved in this matter for now, just watch.
Lu Shudao nodded.
All right, we'll just watch.
Lin Moyu shook his head.
You watch. I should probably take the stage.
Lu Shudao exclaimed.
Mr. Lin, you're going to get involved?
Lin Moyu nodded.
Some things are in the Buddhist clan's hands that I need to take back. Now that the three races are about to face off, it's a good opportunity for me.
Lu Shudao understood Lin Moyu's meaning.
If so, it is indeed a good opportunity.
With the three races facing off, if Lin Moyu intervenes, he'll be the fourth force. Originally, it was the Buddhist and insect races joining forces against the dragon race, with the dragon race inevitably at a disadvantage. If Lin Moyu joins in and stands on the dragon race's side, the dragon race's disadvantage will change. Lu Shudao understands Lin Moyu's abilities. Whether the Buddhist and insect races understand is another matter. Lu Shudao has a feeling that if the Buddhist clan doesn't give Lin Moyu what he wants, the Buddhist and insect races will be in trouble. Lu Shudao looked at the situation on the field.
When does Mr. Lin plan to make his move?
Lin Moyu smiled.
Sending charcoal in snowy weather is certainly better than adding flowers to brocade. The dragon race's true powerhouses haven't arrived yet. Let's wait until they come. Before that, I also need to make some preparations.
Lin Moyu quietly retreated some distance, moving away from the Western paradise. He took out an array disk and some 8th grade origin crystals, and began refining the array disk. Lin Moyu is still refining the space-rending killing array. This is the array he's most familiar with, and its power is extremely great, enough to threaten 8th level Dao Venerables. Previously he would set up the array, but this time he's directly refining it into an array disk. After refining it into a disk, the power may be somewhat reduced and the range smaller, but it gains in flexibility, ready to use at any time. He's using 8th grade premium origin crystals as materials, which to some extent makes up for the lack of power. Most importantly, the space-rending killing array Lin Moyu is refining is for external use. He's arranged the space-rending killing array in reverse, treating it as a weapon. He's had this experience before, so this time he's quite adept at it. In less than half a day, one array disk was refined. The dragon race hasn't arrived yet, so Lin Moyu continues refining array disks. 2 days later, Lu Shudao came to Lin Moyu.
Mr. Lin, the dragon race's true powerhouses are about to arrive.
Lin Moyu's hands didn't stop as he casually asked,
Do you know who's coming? What's their status in the dragon race, and what realm are they?
Lu Shudao said quietly,
We don't know the exact numbers, but we've received news that 6 of the dragon race's 9 great elders have come. All 6 are 9th level Dao Venerables, and quite a few other elders have come too.
Lin Moyu said.
So now only the clan leader and 3 great elders are left in the dragon race.
Lu Shudao nodded.
That's about right.
The dragon race's overt power consists of 10 ninth-level Dao venerables, their clan leader and the great elders. Now that 2/3 have come, their clan is indeed vulnerable. As for whether there are hidden forces, Lin Moyu thinks there should be, but they won't be too strong. If the 6 great elders perish here, it will be a fatal blow to the dragon race. Lu Shudao smiled.
I wonder when Mr. Lin plans to make his move.
Lin Moyu said,
There's still one character who hasn't appeared on stage. Naturally, I should be the finale.
Lu Shudao understood that Lin Moyu was referring to the insect race, but until now, he still couldn't fully confirm whether the insect race's people had actually arrived. After all, everything before was just Lin Moyu's guess. Lu Shudao watched Lin Moyu's fingertips dance as he refined the array disc. The whole process was pleasing to the eye, with an indescribable beauty. He sighed.
Mr. Lin's attainments in arrays are truly admirable.
Lin Moyu smiled.
Senior Lu is too kind. I still have a long way to go.
Lu Shudao didn't delve deeper into array matters, but asked,
Why is Mr. Lin so certain that the insect race will definitely appear?
Lin Moyu said,
Because I saw them.
3,243,240. Chapter 3240. Today you can become a Buddha on the spot. Lin Moyu's words left Lu Shudao unable to understand. He hadn't seen the insect race since arriving here, so how had Lin Moyu seen them? Of course, Lin Moyu had used his undead eye to see the insect race's special soul flames and know their location. However, he hadn't seen them when he first arrived at the Western Paradise of Ultimate Bliss. It was in the past few days, during the battles between the Dragon Race and Buddhist clan, that he discovered them. The insect race was getting restless and starting to stir, which exposed them. Lin Moyu smiled.
The insect race's people have been in the Western Paradise of Ultimate Bliss for a long time. They just haven't come out.
Lu Shudao believed Lin Moyu's words.
So Mr. Lin had confidence early on, not just guessing.
Lin Moyu smiled. Just then, the 4th array disc was finished refining. Lin Moyu didn't continue refining.
That's about enough. After the main characters arrive, I should also take the stage.
Lu Shudao said softly.
They should be here in just a moment.
Lin Moyu turned to look into the distance.
The dragon race is faster than we thought. They're already here.
In the distance, within the Buddhist light, several points of light appeared. Lin Moyu had discovered them very early, while Lu Shudao noticed them a bit later than Lin Moyu. Lu Shudao realized that Lin Moyu's soul perception was even stronger than his own. The strength of Lin Moyu's soul left him in awe. With such a soul, Lin Moyu's combat power couldn't be measured by realm at all. Over 100 powerful divine dragons approached at an astonishing speed, arriving before their eyes in an instant. Then, without stopping, they directly attacked into the Western Paradise of Ultimate Bliss. The dragons who were previously in the Western Paradise of Ultimate Bliss also joined in the attack. A great battle erupted again. This time, the dragons that came to attack were all at the Elder level, all divine dragons, with the weakest at the 7th level Dao Venerable realm. 7th level Dao Venerable divine dragons could become elders in the dragon race. There were a full 70 of them here, and over 20 at the 8th level Dao Venerable realm. The strongest were the 6th 9th level Dao Venerable Great Elders. Compared to their arrival, the previous battles could be considered minor skirmishes. These elders displayed overwhelming power as soon as they arrived, directly crushing the Buddhist clan. The Buddhist clan's Buddhas were beaten back repeatedly, with the illusory Buddhas in the sky constantly collapsing. At first glance, they were no match at all for the dragon race. The battlefield spread from the outskirts of the Western Paradise of Ultimate Bliss towards its center. Wherever the dragon race passed, the land of the Western Paradise collapsed, mountain ranges shattered, and Buddha halls turned to ruins. The originally majestic and beautiful Western Paradise of Ultimate Bliss was battered beyond recognition. Gradually, the dragon race penetrated deeper and deeper. Lin Moyu smiled.
It seems the Buddhist clan has paid quite a price.
By now, Lu Shudao had also noticed something amiss. Even though the insect race hadn't acted yet, he could see something was wrong. The Buddhist clan seemed to be beaten badly, but actually they weren't. Only mountains and Buddha halls were destroyed, without harming their foundations. Very few Buddhist clan members were injured. They almost always collapsed at the first touch, seemingly unable to resist, but were actually retreating voluntarily. They weren't afraid at all, but were luring the enemy in deeper. Lin Moyu suddenly said,
The insect race has moved. The encirclement is about to form. The big show is about to begin.
Lu Shudao's eyes lit up.
Then is Mr. Lin planning to make his move?
Lin Moyu said,
Not yet. Let the dragon race suffer some losses first, then I can send charcoal in snowy weather. Besides, if the Buddhist clan readily agrees to my request, then the dragon race's affairs will be none of my business.
Lin Moyu added in his heart,
The Buddhist clan won't possibly agree, and can't agree either.
Even if Yellow Eyebrow Ancient Buddha was willing to give him Little May's reincarnation treasure, Green Lamp Ancient Buddha might not be able to produce the Hell Fragment. At the same time, since he appeared to only have third-level Tao Venerable cultivation, they probably wouldn't take his words seriously. A great battle was almost certainly unavoidable. Perhaps it would be better to negotiate after fighting. But Lin Moyu was used to courtesy before force, so he might as well talk first. If they couldn't reach an agreement, it wouldn't be too late to fight then. In his undead eye, the insect race appeared behind the dragon race. Not just the insect race, but the Buddhist clan's most revered and powerful Buddhas had also silently completed their encirclement. Because this was the Western paradise of ultimate bliss, the Buddhist clan's headquarters, with origin spirit veins here, the Buddhist clan could move very quickly and elude the dragon race. By the time the dragon race discovered it, it was already too late. Brilliant Buddhist light suddenly rose up, and a huge Buddha appeared between heaven and earth. This golden Buddha stood between heaven and earth, with 3 heads and 6 arms, emitting an astonishing aura. His aura had already surpassed the 9th level Tao Venerable realm. Lin Moyu had seen a similar aura on Supu before. This was the aura of a pseudo-great Tao realm being. The 3 lives Buddha Patriarch appeared between heaven and earth, with a 9-colored light wheel like a rainbow behind him. As the light wheel turned, the 3 lives Buddha Patriarch pressed down with one palm. A dragon race great elder spat out dragon breath, his tail lashing out like lightning. Boom! With a huge sound, the 3 lives Buddha Patriarch's palm strike was dispersed, but the dragon race great elder cried out in pain. The scales on his tail shattered, flesh and blood flying, nearly severing the entire tail. A casual palm strike from a pseudo-great Tao realm being had severely injured a 9th level Tao Venerable Dragon Race Great Elder. The power difference between them was extremely obvious. As the 3 lives Buddha Patriarch appeared, numerous golden Buddhas appeared between heaven and earth. Buddhist light illuminated the Western paradise of ultimate bliss. For 9-wheel ancient Buddhas appeared, along with over 10 8-wheel ancient Buddhas, and some 7-wheel ancient Buddhas. They were positioned on the south and north sides, surrounding the dragon race. The 3 lives Buddha Patriarch occupied the western side of the battlefield, while on the eastern side, 5 huge insect queens appeared. The insect queens had countless nests on their bodies, from which flew out a large number of insect warriors. These insect warriors were all at the 6th level Tao Venerable realm. Though their realm was a bit low, their numbers were astonishing, reaching several million. In an instant, the insect race blotted out the sky, countless in number. This was the insect race's most troublesome insect swarm tactic, making up for quality with quantity. After releasing the insect swarm, the 5 insect queens simultaneously transformed into their battle forms. In battle form, the insect queen's combat power surpassed dragons of the same realm by a bit. All 5 insect queens were at the 9th level Tao Venerable realm. With their combat power, they were enough to contend with the dragon race's 6 great elders. Add to that the Buddhist clan here and the 3 lives Buddha Patriarch, and the dragon race had almost no chance of victory. A dragon race great elder roared angrily.
I never expected you to join forces with the insect race.
Hatred showed in the eyes of the dragon race members. The insect race and dragon race were mortal enemies. Before establishing the dragon congregation, the Buddhist clan and dragon race didn't interfere with each other. But now, with the Buddhist clan and insect race joining forces, the Buddhist clan and dragon race had also become mortal enemies. Another dragon race great elder roared angrily.
Buddhist clan, you're seeking death. Digging your own graves.
Though he said this, it sounded somewhat forced and helpless. The dragon race weren't fools. They could understand the current situation and knew they were at an absolute disadvantage.
Amitabha.
The Three Lives Buddha Patriarch chanted a Buddha's name.
The dragon race is proud, but shouldn't be too arrogant. You should be able to see clearly the situation today. This Buddha Patriarch doesn't want living beings to suffer. If you are willing to join our clan and become members of the dragon congregation, you can become Buddhas on the spot today. Otherwise,
His words were full of threats. The implication was actually just 4 words. Submit or die. 3,241, 3,241.